Yes.
That makes 4 of us.
Mark's not coming tonight either?
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, look who's here.
I will now call the York Planning Board meeting for May 28th, 2026 to order. Members here this evening are Wayne Boardman, Peter Smith, Board's Vice Chair. I'm David Woods, Board Chair. To my right is Gail Billett, Board Secretary, and Steve Friedman. For town staff this evening, we have Brendan Somerville, Town Planner, and operating remotely, taking the minutes, the Recording Secretary, Patience Horton. Sure. Can you hear me
Does
now?
that work?
Perfect.
What about me? Does that work? No, everyone tells me that I don't talk loud enough. What'd you say?
We have
And
the
it- and,
tendency
you know,
to
you
slowly
don't-
back away, so.
I think it's a mistake to tell me that because you really don't want to listen to me anyway, so go ahead.
Field changes, I did not see any submitted. And moving right into the public forum portion, we do have 3 applications tonight. The public forum at this point is for comments not related to those applications. So if anyone has any comments they would like to make, not regarding 39 Main Street, the Tropic Star development, or York River landscaping, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands, we will close the public forum and we can move right into the applications for this evening. The first one up is 39 Main Street, sketch plan.
So this is a sketch plan for 39 Main Street. The applicant is proposing 3 duplex units. This is one of our first greenway or larger greenway proposals. So this is in the CD4 zone, which is a blend of the suburban zones or the Tier 3 sector, what we'd call CD3, and then what would also be considered urban center zone or a CD5, which we don't have. It's supposed to be a medium to higher intensity land use than would normally be associated with a neighborhood. So it's just a little bit more dense than what is otherwise considered a neighborhood. The application from staff's point of view is complete enough for review. We have a couple of points of concern, nothing major though, but willing to discuss that here with also the applicant and the board.
Great, thank you very much. If you guys could introduce yourself, spell your name for the record.
Yes, my name is Walter Woods, W-A-L-T-E-R, Woods, W-O-O-D-S. I'm here in reference to 39 Main Street, and this is Jameson from Atara Engineering.
Jameson Miller from Adder Engineering, Jameson Miller.
Thank you very much. And for the record, we have the same last name, but we are not relatives.
That's correct.
I've never mentioned that at a board after you've been here a few times, but thought I'd clear the air on that. So we're here for a sketch plan. Before kind of diving into it, we'd have to accept the sketch plan for review, complete for review.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the sketch plan from Atlantic Crossing 39. I like that, so I want to put that in there. Atlantic Crossing, 39 Main Street, map 23, lot 83, as presented.
Second.
Moved by Peter, seconded by Gail. Any discussion? Wayne?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes,
Chair votes yes, 5-0. Threw you guys for a loop there.
making sure we're awake.
Public hearing, we sometimes hold for sketch plans. Is anyone here to speak about that application this evening? We did have one write-in that wanted to be read into the record. So if nobody objects, skip the formalities of the public hearing, but continue to read that in for the sketch review.
Sure. No objection.
Sure, fine.
Okay, Brendan?
Dear members of the planning board, we are writing as concerned abutters or residents regarding the proposed subdivision and condominium development at 39 Main Street and Cross Street in York, Maine. While we appreciate the importance of responsible development within the community, we respectfully request careful consideration of several issues related to traffic, infrastructure, neighborhood compatibility, and construction impacts associated with this proposal. First, the addition of 6 condominium units as a single-family dwelling may significantly increase traffic on Cross Street, which is already narrow and limited in its ability to safely accommodate vehicle traffic, pedestrians, and emergency access. We understand the board may have the authority to modify or waive certain sidewalk or curbing requirements where strict compliance could further reduce usable roadway width. Given the existing constraints of Cross Street, we respectfully request that any such considerations carefully balance pedestrian improvements with the need to maintain adequate emergency vehicle access and safe traffic flow. We respectfully request that the appropriate traffic and safety considerations be thoroughly evaluated, including roadway access, congestion, and pedestrian safety. Parking is another important concern. It remains unclear whether sufficient off-street parking will be available for residents and guests. Any overflow parking onto Cross Street or surrounding roadways could create additional safety and accessibility concerns for nearby residents. We would also request confirmation that the existing water, sewer, drainage, and stormwater systems have been adequately evaluated to ensure that the surrounding neighborhood will not be negatively impacted by the increased density or additional impervious surface areas. As part of the considerations, as part of the construction of our home, significant drainage mitigation measures, including the installation of a large French drain system connected to the municipal stormwater overflow infrastructure, were required to address runoff concerns. We respectfully request that similar consideration be given to ensuring that adequate stormwater mitigation measures are incorporated into the proposed development to prevent adverse impacts to neighboring properties and surrounding infrastructure. In addition, we ask that careful consideration be given to preserving the existing character of the neighborhood while ensuring that the site can safely accommodate the proposed level of development. Construction-related impacts should also be addressed proactively. Dust, debris, noise, and construction traffic can significantly affect neighboring homes and properties. I respectfully request that all appropriate dust mitigation, roadway cleaning, and property protection measures be required throughout construction. This could include, where appropriate, professional cleaning or power washing of nearby homes or areas impacted by construction and dust and debris. Thank you for your time and consideration of these concerns. We respectfully request that these issues be carefully reviewed and appropriately addressed as part of the board's evaluation process. Signed, Mark and Katie Gatcombe, 3 Cross Street.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your comments. If you're listening from afar, if you guys would like to kind of give us your presentation and show us what you have planned here.
Would it be okay without the speaker if I speak loud enough?
I think just for,
Take this with me?
yeah, please.
Thank you. So, first want to thank the board for reviewing this, along with the town planner and code enforcement, because I've met with these folks several times to come up with this design and so on. So I've met with Brendan, she's probably 5 or 6 times, code enforcement and so on. And we've been back and forth trying to make this fit in a residential setting, because there are homes across the street, of which I have introduced myself to 2 of the neighbors who directly abut me. The third neighbor I have not been able to have a conversation with, just in case I can pick up whatever their concerns are and help mitigate those issues as we move forward as well. So I just want to know that, I have touched base with the residents around who are directly abutting this. So what we've come up with is this is Cross Street right here, in showing where Cross Street is. This is based on the Greenway ordinances in reference to what Brendan, myself, and Atara Engineering has come up with to make and meet to the closest interpretation of what we all feel this ordinance allows us to do.
Mr. Chair. Excuse me.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if you've checked it out, but is the operator able to put the picture on the screen? For the audience. I can't see this. And
Are we able to broadcast? I'm not sure if we can do that. Can we broadcast the video stream onto the larger TVs?
No, we can't do that, but he can put it in front of you.
well, I'm talking about,
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
saying, they can put it in front of you.
Well, I thought you could.
If it's
look from over
computer,
there.
if the computer's plugged into it, but I don't think the
Yeah, it's
stream
not like
links
it's
to
the
these.
computer.
That camera can't focus on.
I've got the cameras doing that. I don't, I can't.
all right.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry to interrupt.
Thank you.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the board saw what we're doing. And I'll turn this around to the, to the folks in the thing after the presentation so they can review it. And if they have,
Thank you.
from there, or if they have questions after the meeting or whichever, they're more than happy to talk to me as well. So this is Cross Street right here. Based on the ordinances, we had to put the driveway and the parking to the back of the property based on interpretation from the town planner. And so, again, we have 6 units. They're roughly about 1,800 square foot in size. This is which I originally thought was going to be the front elevation. Here's the garages right here. So we do have one-car garages within the development. So in reference to parking issues, we have roughly 3 parking spaces per unit is what we have, which exceeds, what the requirement is here. We have one covered and then 2 to the side as far as the parking requirements. And the parking will be between the buildings designated, through the covenant and the bylaws as we develop those.
When you say 3 per unit, do you mean, it's a duplex, so is it 3 for each duplex or
That's
3
correct.
total?
No, 3 for
Okay.
each unit. So we have three parking spaces per unit.
Each unit has a garage and will have 2 on-street.
No, not on street, within the.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So we don't have any parking on the street whatsoever for that reason. The original plan, which I'll get to at the end, has that because I would like the board's opinion on another proposal that we did submit originally that Brenda and I were working on prior. So based on the ordinances today and based on the interpretation of the town planner and the assistant town planner, this does meet the Greenway District unless Brendan has come up with something different that we don't mean. And I know the vote just went through, and I don't know if that vote passed in reference to the change.
It did.
Yeah. So that brings us to this. So the site plan layout. So this is Cross Street right here. Okay. And the site plan layout. And here's a drive. This is Center Street right here. So we have a driveway that comes up to the back, okay, which will service the parking, for the one-car garage, and then there's parking right here, which one of the vehicles would just come right up under that deck area there. So we can keep the parking to that point. In reference to the concerns of the abutter who wrote the letter, I've already met with Town Water, Town Sewer, Historical District, and Public Works. The only thing Public Works and I are working out right now are, peak flows, calculations, lot impervious surface, of which Jameson can bring to your attention. We haven't developed that based on the direction that I'm hoping that we can go this evening, and I want that direction from the board to help us better tune this in for that reason. But adequate capabilities as far as town sewer. I have a letter from the town sewer already stating not an issue. We'll be bringing sewer up back here, a 6-inch main that will, just tie into that. And we've already got that addressed and in a letter. I've already got the water district the same. We'll be bringing the water in from the water main is right here. We'll just be bringing the water main into each one of the units from the front. And I've got a letter already stating that. I've already got a letter from the Historical District because there is an existing dwelling on this property. And that dwelling is roughly right here in this location. So I did take it to the Historical District for their review to make sure that it was okay that I could remove that structure and raise it, once we have approvals from the town to move forward on this project. So I do have those items. We are working with the superintendent, Tim, in reference to the stormwater runoff and drainage. There is drainage. There's actually a drainage swale here right now on this property. And Tim and I have worked out details in reference to increasing the size of the pipe and changing the grades so they allow the drainage to come down this road and get picked up by a catch basin. And then we're going to increase the size of this pipe, of this drainage easement that runs all the way down, and it pretty much runs all the way to the back of all those homes that I think what that gentleman was mentioning in his letter, that he had to put a French drain to come and tie into that as well. Once we determine the calculations, then we'll then sit with Tim and Dean or whomever to make that decision in reference to whether we can tie into it or just run off into it, or we may have to put retention areas or detention areas, and we'll do that within this driveway right here with underground, chamber tanks and things of that nature if we need to address that stormwater calculations. And I won't know that until Jamison has time to review this based on this meeting this evening.
And the catch basin is on property owned by a different owner.
No, the catch basin's in the right-of-way. Okay.
It's in the right of way.
Well, excuse me. One of them's in the right-of-way. The other is in a town easement.
Town easement.
So the town has an easement. The town will have the easement on that as well. That's an existing town easement that's there right now.
Not on easement on this property, but on an adjacent property.
Correct, which is this piece of property right here.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Yeah, and we've already got the design done to change that and to increase that, and we've got that work complete. Matter of fact, Peter, the town manager, has that the easement and the change in his hands right now, just reviewing that and making sure that's satisfactory to him and the superintendent. So that's what I'm proposing, based on all the discussion that we've had. I did originally have a proposal, and I'm just want to throw this out here, is we originally had the garages facing Cross Street. So, because what we were hoping for was to have a more residential look. Besides, we tried to dress up the back with this because that's what the neighbors are going to be looking at directly. So we dressed this up as much as we could with trim boards and some gables, just to make it look more presentable. Because also in the Greenway, we have to meet a certain criteria of the character to fit within the residential area. But originally, I was hoping to put the garages to the front, which the character of the front is nicer looking, but and then set the buildings 20 feet back off of Cross Street, so it had a more residential look that the homes in that road have right now, because all the homes are roughly 25 to 30 feet back from the road. I like the look of it with the garages facing the Cross Street. It made for better parking. If we flipped it around, I'd be able to have my 2 cars parking in front off of Cross Street in their own driveways, and then with the garage in there, and still have some room in the back for excess parking. But, so that's what I was proposing originally, but again, the town planner interpreted the ordinance a little different and said that no, that the parking has to be to the rear. And that is an interpretation in the ordinance of whatever. The code enforcement did agree with us that they felt we could do that. And that's another reason why I'm here tonight on the sketch review. I really just would like the board's opinion on that and the direction, if that's even feasible, to move forward in that direction before I come back for preliminary. So those,
Can we address that right now? And a question to the
To Brennan?
planner. That would violate or disagree with the new ordinances for the
Greenway District.
Greenway District, right?
In what way? The parking in the front, or?
Yeah.
Yes, so garage parking is only permitted in the 3rd layer of the buildings
Yeah.
or of a property in the Greenway District. So that was whenever Code and I originally went over this, we had concerns about the garages and the driveways being on the front. As also by ordinance, you're not allowed to park within 10 feet of that front property line as well. So that was why we made the suggestion to move the parking to the rear of the property, as it would fit more with the Greenway standards.
And that Greenway standard is not waivable.
Correct. This is part of the zoning ordinance, which the board does not have the ability to waive from.
Okay. Unfortunately.
that answers that. And that's why we've gone this direction. I just want to see what the board thought of that, because what we're trying to do is trying to also meet the Greenway by, having a residential look, having it look like the homes around the area, but we've dressed up the back as well to make that have some character. And
So I'm only seeing, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I'm only seeing like 2 trees now in between. Is it possible
I-
you could do a lot more?
I have not done a landscaping plan, of which I will do.
I'm thinking about what you said, as far as how it looks to the neighbors. It doesn't look like the front of a building, it looks like the back. But the other thing you could do would be to fake a front door in the middle of each building where you have that vertical trim piece in between the 2 units. Fake a front door. And it would look like the front of a building, if that was your concern, that the neighbors are looking at the back of a building.
I've submitted this and went over this with two of the customers who are directly across, two of the residents who are directly
They were
across.
okay?
They liked what I did. They thought it was fine. They liked that I added the gables and just dressed it up a little bit further. But I am going to put more vegetation here, but I'm going to put low-lying vegetation in there because we don't have a lot of distance between the back of the house now and the right-of-way. And correct. And we don't want to encroach that. So we're going to be putting some more vegetation down in this area to just dress that up. And you'll see that when I come back for the preliminary plan. I'll have a landscape plan done for you to review to make sure. This was just something that we put together so you'd see.
And those are bulkheads that are there, right?
Yes, they are.
And would they necessarily be that color, or could they be?
No,
matching
we're going to
up?
paint them gray to match the buildings.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, because this
Yep.
is what we're seeing at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, but this is the input that I'm looking
So
for.
is it just a basement, unoccupied basement?
That's correct.
And it's for, and why do you even need a basement there?
I'm just thinking people here that they're going to want to have big bulkhead doors so they could open up, for the purpose of putting kayaks, beach stuff, things of that nature, because it is a walk to the beach, and I don't want the stuff outside the units. I just think it'll not look good. So, and the garages are 15 feet wide, so they could put kayaks and canoes in there and surfboards or whichever the case may be. So I'm just looking at what this use may be intended for, and I'd prefer not to see that outside because I think that would become a problem.
Was there also a problem with the far left one where the left hand encroached on the setback or the zone for Main Street?
It was the we originally had a driveway there, and that encroached on that setback issue.
So that won't be in that?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right. And the other plan you gave us, I mean, the image that you gave us was the balcony on the front, but now it's up back on the side. Some of the drawings said we're on the side and some are in the front.
No, now they're on the sides.
Okay.
And they're between the units. The units are roughly 20 to 22 feet apart from each other, and I have the decks connecting with a partition, a solid partition between those.
And is this like one piece of property with condominium?
Well, because of the ordinance that was just changed, Wayne, I have to
Three.
fragment the lots.
Yes.
Okay, which we've designed it for that already. So basically, this line right here, so this will be lot 1, lot 2, lot 3, and we'll outline that in the covenant in reference to the restrictions and what they can use, but that's how I'm going to have to propose this, as well as because of the new ordinance that just passed this.
Now, just a side thing, it doesn't seem logical to have this Main Street. The existing house is on Cross Street. All those houses are on Cross Street.
Correct.
Is that just a matter of working it out with the?
Which I've not done with Luke. That's correct.
Yeah.
They will. I'm not sure what Luke is going to require this as a showing, because I'm looking at this could be Center Street and that could be their frontage. So it may be Center Street as a physical addresses, but that's something I'll set with Luke. I didn't want to go to Luke and he's the only one I ever talked to in reference to physical addresses, where we're going to call it for the 911 reasons, and so on. So I really haven't got there.
He's the town assessor and makes all those decisions
That's
on
correct.
street numbers.
That's correct. But I'm assuming it's most likely going to be Center Street because the driveway accesses Center Street. That's just my assumption with the the amount of work I've done with Lou over the years. I mean, with Luke.
Okay.
Do you know approximate lot width?
Lot width
Yeah. So
of what?
Or,
Of each unit?
yeah, no, the actual lot that would be
Once you
subdivided.
segment into the 3 lots, what would be the width of each lot?
The only reason why I ask is because the max is 100 feet, which is kind of new for us.
Yeah, it's under 100.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
minimum-
under 100 feet. I think it's probably going to be somewhere about 65. Foot per lot, because the units are 22 wide, so they're connected. It's 44 plus the parking on the side. So I'm probably about 65 to 70 feet in width would be the lots. And again, we'll outline that and delineate that in the covenant, because this will be a condominium aspect.
So there'll be 3 duplexes then.
That's correct.
Basically.
That's correct.
This is infill, basically infill development, which is a great thing because you've already got sewer and water. It's space that could be considered underutilized. And we have a severe need for housing in this town. To me, the best result would be that the residents, they would be residents there, or that they would be full-time renters. The second best would be they would be a summer property for somebody. And the third best would be short-term rentals where you had rapid turnover. Do you have any idea what you want to aim for?
I'm going to leave it up to the people who are buying. You know, I mean, I'm not going to restrict, you know, what we're doing in the development. I mean, there are many rental properties on this street already, but I'm not restricting it to, you know, for them not to use it as a short-term rental and or a 30-day rental or whichever, you know, they propose they want to utilize it for. I'm sure I'm going to get half and half, you know, people looking at this as far as, you know, its location to the beach and the location to town.
Okay, again, that's unfortunate, but if it is,
Well,
it is.
they are allowed, right?
It is allowed, you have a choice
not-
of
I mean,
of
he-
having a covenant that directs it more directly, but
Again,
it would be as
I'm
profitable, I agree.
yeah, and I honestly I could do up to 12 units based on my frontage, based on the Greenway zone. And that would mean one large, ugly building with a bunch of apartments in it that's just not going to look and fit nice in this area. I'm trying to bring it within reason so it does fit in the residential area because that is a neighborhood. I'm trying to make it look decent at the same, but I don't want to restrict things to it where we're only coming in with 6 versus 12. I mean, putting a large structure there altogether would just look horrible. And you know, I think what we're doing and proposing is trying to fit in with the neighborhood as best as possible and also be profitable. I mean, it's my business. This is what I do for a living.
This is not just for fun?
Actually, it is, Pete. It's fun too.
I know you do. Or you wouldn't keep coming
No,
back.
it's fun. I haven't been back here in a long time. So
Primary frontage, is that going to be Cross Street? Or have you
that's something
town
that's
identified that?
no,
It would kind of need to be for.
the zones.
Yeah, for the zones, it would need to be cross street.
Correct. Because we've developed the first stage, second stage, and third stage, so it meets that criteria
Okay.
in reference to the Greenway District.
As far as the ordinance goes with frontage types, such as,
Principal versus secondary versus.
well, not so much that, more of the design of what the frontage facade needs to look like.
Yes.
In the 10I section, there's some examples of what is allowed. My first thought on this for design-wise would be continue with the garages in the back for the parking concerns,
Yep.
parking in the third layer, but somehow switching the bulkhead with a front door. So the primary entrance was pedestrian only off of Cross Street, but internally from the garage, or even a second entrance in the rear of the lot to get interior as well. But the purpose of the Greenway, as we were kind of going through the design of it, was to get the look and feel from the street view. It was more about what it felt like as you were driving or walking down the road. I think you nailed the goal of the parking in the rear the best someone has been able to. So that was a good solution for that. I just think with the frontage being on Cross Street, having a primary entrance.
Yeah, but he's got a bedroom there right now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something we can work. I mean, we could definitely work on that, whether the bedroom's there or not. We can create a hallway and separate that. But my concern is do we? I just feel guests and people are going to start pulling up there, thinking they could park there. Now they're parking on Cross Street, which is something that we don't want them to do. So that's my only concern. Now, in reference to putting a fake door there to make it look like that, Last thing would be, the fire department coming up thinking they can access a door and not get in there for life safety issues. I think that's an issue.
I just knocked.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
so I'm not. I mean, can we dress up the facade without putting a front there further? I'm sure we can.
I was just looking at the frontage types, page 63 of the section 10I. It gave common yard, porch, fence, you name it, just different examples that would be, I guess, sought after for design or interaction with the public.
Yeah, and to that point, on page 64, for building standards under the facade section, the main entrance must be in the facade of the principal frontage per the ordinance. So there needs to be some kind of primary entrance on the frontage side, or wherever the building is fronting, which in this case would be cross street.
It should be cross street.
And it
That's what-
doesn't need a vehicular access, just
Just
a
pedestrian.
little sidewalk and path to the doors.
Are you going to have a
Yeah, I could do that. I could do a little walkway. I could do a walkway right from the side right up to a door, and I can reconfigure that first floor plan. Again, that's preliminary for us based on what this meeting is this evening.
It's kind of redesigning houses the way I feel like we've all grown up with, like
Yeah.
front door, garage,
Yeah.
driveway.
Well, I think if we put a walkway there, then we're not going to have vehicles pulling up there.
Right,
If we physically put a walkway to that door, it's just a walkway.
correct.
I'm just
Along with landscaping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think we could definitely redesign that into the plans.
On the cross street side?
Yes. Yeah. So what Dave is suggesting is, because the Greenway District, we have to come from Cross Street for the purpose of our first stage, second stage, and third stage. One of the references are to that it has to also be an access to the home or an entrance. So what Dave's suggesting is we put an entrance on the back, a true entrance to the back that goes into the house from the back side, which basically we can make it look like the front side by putting some type of, dress up a gable over, some covered entrance, just make it look sharp, bring a walkway up to it so people aren't parking there, and go from there. So that's definitely, I could definitely do that.
Are you thinking they're just going to pull in the driveway? Or, I mean, to
People are
me,
people.
I was going to say, if you see a door, you're going to park.
Yeah. I would think,
On the street.
just to,
But to meet the letter of the ordinance, Dave's making the point that the ordinance does say that.
have to have a door on that side.
Yes.
I don't think you can park wherever you want, but the feel of parking on Cross Street, if there's that entrance, I can picture like a little fence or hedged in yard there, small entrance to your door. The only people are probably going to park there, the owners, but they know they have ample parking in the back of the lot.
Yeah, and I also think people, most pedestrians, when they're coming from town, they probably use that access in from Cross Street.
Pretty narrow street.
Yeah.
Cross Street is. You're not going to.
It's 22 feet wide. It's not as narrow as, it's wider than you think. It gets narrower when you go further down the road.
Okay.
Towards Freeman.
Correct. Towards Freeman, it does narrow up down there, but at the road area where this house is, that pavement's fairly wide. And the location of this, I've got more space up at the front of it, which is nice because the road curves away from the property line. So you got more space. So up here, you can see, here's the pavement right here. There's a pavement edge. So it gets closer to this side. But down here, it's got a good distance away.
If people are parking on that road, is there room for emergency vehicles to come down as well?
On Cross
That,
Street.
yeah.
2 feet, yeah.
They probably end
Not
up
a
with
fire
a
truck.
ticket on their
But if
windshield.
people, but if people are back here, parking back here, that's where they're supposed to be parking.
Supposed to.
As far as but there is a hydrant close to this as well, because we've got town water right there as well.
Would that be the town that would have the no parking on this side of the street signs?
Right, yeah. That would be, I can confirm with Dean later, but that might end up being an amendment to the traffic safety ordinance as it's changing a public street in a way, or changing the traffic controls of that, so.
Worst case, a couple T-post signs with no parking on the side.
Yeah,
of the street.
I'll
Can I
just.
offer a suggestion, please? To go back to that,
The rendering.
the elevation picture, yeah. No, Yeah, yes, okay. If you had low-growing hedges or something
Yep,
all the way along Cross Street, in front of those buildings,
Yep.
one continuous line,
yep.
so there's no obvious way to get to the buildings, right? And especially if you had a sidewalk along in front of that hedge. But I don't know if you have the width for that, but because you pointed out it gets narrower as it goes in down the street.
Well, it's past this, it gets narrower.
If you had a sign on the corner of Cross Street and what was the other one?
Center Street.
Center, if you had a sign down there, Atlantic Crossing,
Yep,
even maybe an arrow, but not necessarily. So it calls attention to the fact that you drive down Cross Street and you turn left to get into this thing because there's no way.
I think it's a great idea.
You can't get in on that side because there's foliage all the way.
Well, I like the idea of some type of, whether it be a low-lying fence, like a two-rail fence,
the fence,
something like
right.
that, just to dress it up and some hedges planted in between them, leave an opening for where the walkway is. Yeah, I mean, that
A
would,
wrought iron fence that's not really too bold, whatever. So it makes it clear that this is not the
parking.
way you get in.
Yeah.
And then the sign says, this is the way.
Yeah, that's good.
This is where it is.
no,
And because you know what will happen? You'll have FedEx trucks and other people parking there thinking they can deliver on that side of the building. And that's only, that doesn't make sense.
yeah, that's,
But you can make it not happen by visually saying, there's no way to get to this side of the building.
right.
You need a path. You need a path.
Why?
To make it look like the front of a road, make it look like it's supposed to.
I think the fence, some shrubbery,
Path in.
the walkway, and a door to the back, and with a gable over that dressed up, I think we can make that look like a front entrance
Or if
pretty
you
well.
had walkways that went
In there we could direct-
between
that-
the three buildings, between the two, on both sides of the building, right now, you have a balcony, right?
Correct.
And you can walk under it on the ground level.
Correct.
So if you had walkway that went on the.
So you're saying an interior walkway on the property between the walkways that I'd have to the front door off of Cross
No,
Street?
an exterior, on the ground.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Interior of the property.
Interior of the property,
Yeah,
though.
yes. If
Yeah.
in addition to what I just said a minute ago, if you had a continuous blockage along the street, but between buildings number 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, you had a sidewalk that went from Cross Street to the new driveway in the back.
So the problem with that, Pete, is I don't own the property outside of here. Okay, so if we,
Is that town? Or
yeah,
is
the
that-
town owns it.
Okay, thanks.
It's a town road.
It's part of the easement.
Right. Yeah. So what we could do is we could do a walkway to the front door, let's say, on both units, because we'll have two walkways there, and then we could do an interior. But I have to just keep that interior walkway inside of that area, and I could run that right down to here, to Cross Street from there. Is that what you're talking about?
No, he's thinking about going
Between the buildings,
Oh, between here?
to go behind.
This way, between the two, to go from Cross Street to
Oh, the driveway.
to the
Yeah, there
driveway.
is. See this little white line where that property line's going to be?
Yeah.
That's their walkway.
Okay, now that cannot continue all the way down on that drawing till it hits Cross Street, that walkway,
I could bring a walkway right down there, not a problem.
all the way down. So
Yeah.
if someone is walking down Cross Street and they want to get into the second building,
Yep.
there'd be a opening in the hedge that I talked about, and they could walk all the way through
Yep.
and get into the second building from the driveway side.
That's correct. I understand what you're saying now.
Now that I thought about having borderline all the way down, it makes more sense to have a break in it between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3.
Yeah, we can use that. We can use that boundary line as that walkway location as well.
Sounds good.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So we can that way, they're coming back from the beach. They're coming from town. They're just walking right through to the front.
Yeah.
Access from there.
Yeah, they don't have to go all the way down and
And then
around.
I could outline that in the covenant, so no one says, "Well, I can't use this" or "We can't use that." We have that right in the covenant as well, so they know. So we could disclose that.
This still has the front door on Cross Street, though.
That's
right?
correct. Yep, front door and cross, and I like the idea of putting some type of fencing and hedges.
It's the primary frontage type, so by the ordinance, they're required to have.
But is it a functioning front door?
Yes, yes, it'll be functioning.
So-
It has to be based on the orders.
I agree. So if it's going to be a functioning front door, that may cause you to change your floor plan inside.
Correct.
Flip it around.
I can't flip the flip. I'm gonna redesign that bedroom area
Okay.
You,
to accept that.
you're
And
gonna
then the
redesign
corollary
that
question,
bedroom?
is there access to the house from the garage direct?
Yes,
So
you'll have two means of egress in and out.
You're a very clever man, but I can't see how you redesign it.
Let him worry about it.
We can redesign that.
He's got people.
We can make it work.
You
We can
got-
make it work.
You got people.
We can make it work.
Jameson's in trouble.
So generally, I think you're getting a sense of what we all,
I think it's great ideas. That adds to it.
your time is up.
Thank you.
I check with,
If everyone's done,
I would check with town staff to see if there needs to be independent walkways to each primary door, or if,
I didn't see that in the ordinance, but
I'm just not super
I'm
familiar
I'm
with
not too sure if that would be required as well.
Yeah.
per unit.
yeah, I didn't see that. But
I do like the idea of having maybe, I'll call them curb cuts for the sake of understanding.
Absolutely.
Going in and then having an interior sidewalk makes it feel more like a private community than it is,
Yeah.
hey, everyone park in front of my house.
Correct. And I think having the fencing there will minimize the impact of people parking in front of where they shouldn't be parking.
But it still hits the letter of the ordinance for having the
Correct.
front door.
And I like it just because now we have a little more green space too.
Absolutely.
And they will adjust that area up for the folks who are living across the street.
Warren, what's ceiling height in the basement? Ceiling height in the basement?
7, 10 and a half. Yep. At least 7, 10 and a half. Again, Jameson's here. If you had any questions in reference to stormwater, we don't have those calculations at this point. But if you have anything to address with Jameson in reference to questions you might have in reference to that, he's available as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Brenda, do you have any comments remaining that we haven't touched on? I know you had his review, so.
Right. The only couple of comments that we really had, Unit 1, the deck that's facing Main Street, that would actually end up sitting in the first layer, as with the parking space underneath it. Because whenever you have two frontages in the greenway, that first layer wraps around the property on both frontages, but the second and third layers are combined. So
So it acts as you're double fronted on the
Right.
corner lot.
Right, so because of that, that deck and parking space aren't compliant because they're in the first layer. The rest of the decks, though, are compliant as they are allowed as encroachments to the side setback. So all of the other ones and all the other parking spaces, those are fine. We just make the recommendation that on the next plan, just kind of show that those parking spaces are firmly in the third layer. Walter and I have also been over screening for all the parking spaces. That will all be covered as well. Let's see what else. There is the question of off-site improvements being a potential sidewalk. Because Cross Street is not entirely compliant with the Greenway, it's a non-conforming roadway. The Greenway typically wants a 46 to 50-foot right-of-way. This is a 24-foot right-of-way.
Oh, wow.
And the Greenway would call for a 6-foot sidewalk on either side of the property, which would be almost half of the right-of-way being just sidewalks, so.
Then we're in one lane.
Right, and
territory.
so the application of that is a little unclear,
Okay.
really. I can, in future reviews, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to come to a conclusion on that, and one that's amenable to everybody. As far as the design standards go, everything for the most part is really solid. We just say, come up with, on the architectural surveys, make sure, just indicate that the glazing requirements for the facades are between 20 and 60% as required. The front door needs to be on the front, which is that. Lighting, there was no lighting plan submitted. It's still a sketch plan, it doesn't have to be submitted. But 10I-410, 10I, and 10I-414-2 go over the lighting fixtures required, as well as public darkness. So just make sure that all of those are met. We've gotten their letters from the utility districts and the easements, so we're not too concerned with that. He's also been in contact with the historic district. The house that's there was built in 1930. It's not considered a truly historic building. It's not within the historic district itself. So really, it would just be the demolition delay discussion. It is within the Workforce Affordable Housing Overlay District, but since it hasn't crossed the 10-unit threshold, they're not required to have or offer any sort of workforce affordable housing. But those are really all the comments that we have. We've been happy to work with Walter and see what they bring forward next.
Wonderful. Any comments for us? Additional questions?
No, it's a nice cut.
Board good?
Looks like a very nice idea,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Tropic Star Development, 834 York Street, 834 US Route 1, final site plan. If you would like to come up to the board.
So just to refresh everyone's memory, this is a final final site plan review for 834 US Route 1. This is a 1.95 acre parcel with the intent of being developed as a 5-island gas station with a 5,000 square foot convenience store and some additional parking.
Brendan, have you seen the applicants here this evening?
Yes, their engineer was present
Yes.
a little while ago.
Tropic Star is up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's located within the Route 13 zoning district, and it has access to public water, but no public sewer. This was reviewed by the board previously in October of last year, where it was given preliminary approval. At the time, there were some concerns with the Route 1 redesign that the applicant had proposed. MDOT will have to weigh in on that, and we do have Dean Lassard here to offer town engineering comments as well, should the board request that.
You said it was given preliminary approval, and this says it seeks preliminary approval.
That would be a typo, then. It's on the agenda. It's seeking final approval. It was given preliminary in October.
All right. Before we begin, I would like to disclose for the record, I am not an abutter directly to the applicant's property, and I do not have any financial interest in the outcome of this application. However, because the final plan submissions have been modified from the preliminary plans, access to my property is now included in the area of work on Route 1. I wanted to disclose this publicly and ask the board whether they think I should recuse myself from this application. I do have concerns over the Route 1 layout and lane configuration, but I already had those concerns prior to the adjustment of the road design. I wanted to bring this up to the board, the applicant, and the public, so everyone was aware of it, and so the board can determine whether there are any concerns with my continued participation.
As vice chair, I would like to take control of this discussion and ask if anyone on the board has any concerns with having the chair, David, participate in the review.
Just a question, I wasn't clear what the issue
The
was.
roadway goes all the way down, their application shows road adjustments all the way down towards where that dog place is, and he lives before that, okay? So,
The original preliminary plans, I believe, had the limit of work ending around Mill Ridge Farm.
yeah,
Before the yarn cellar. Now it
after the
Continues
iron
further.
cellar. So that puts him as an abutter as such to the overall plan.
Not in
Do you
is it a
have any
butter?
concerns? on
I do
that
not.
side? To make this official, I would like to make a motion that the board approves of the chair, although he isn't a butter to the application, participating in the discussion.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Yes.
I thank the chair for his candor, and I don't see a conflict
Can
in his
you,
participation.
it's been moved.
Yes,
And seconded, yes.
Yes, you said.
yes.
Vice chair says yes, 4-0.
Okay.
I wanted that to be done, to be put into the record, please.
Thank you all. Continuing on, if we could have introductions for the applicant's team, and spell your names for the record, please.
Sure. My name's Nicole Duquette from McClure Engineering Company. Nicole's Nicole, Duquette, Duquette. Scott and Jim, do you want to introduce yourselves? Let's do it that way.
Yes, get on, yeah.
Yeah, please.
I think I can spell your names, but
I'm Jim Mitchell from Tropic Star Development, the developer. Jim, J-I-M, Mitchell, M-I-T-C-H-E-L-L.
I am Scott Thornton with Vanessa Associates, Thornton.
I'm Scott Bonfanti with Greenman Peterson. That's SCOTTBONFANTI.
Thank you all. Before we go too much further along, we do need to accept the plan for review, but if we could, you already gave a brief summary. Chris's review did have some items that were lacking. I think his memo even stated that it seemed to be incomplete for review.
Yes.
So we can take a minute and go through those items.
I myself plan to take a lot more than a minute.
But yes.
I went through his review, and I think there's a lot of things that
No,
we
it's
need to have
complete
answers for.
It's complete for review, this question, right?
Correct.
Well, that I don't.
and I do have clarifications too.
Yes.
To that, because some of the things are in error.
Okay. Well, error on the review side.
Yes, but I think it's because they weren't privy to what was determined in the pre-application
Okay.
meeting, because they weren't in attendance.
The, okay. Well, then, do we need a motion in order to start the review?
I feel we should go through some of the.
Do we need
items?
a motion in order to do it?
Not yet. It's
review?
more discussion of whether there is enough substantial documentation for accepting
Okay.
it for final review.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Going on page 3 of Chris's review in the blue, I believe. 6431 is public water supply. Chris states that only the previous submitted capacity letter was there. There was no approval from the water district.
That is true. We don't have formal approval from them. However, we did meet all the comments that they have. So all the comments have been addressed on the plans from the comments that were provided at the pre-application phase, or preliminary application phase.
Okay.
But, just to make it clear, for us to move forward, we normally need to have the appropriate letters from all the appropriate agencies. Just to make it clear, not that we can't, at some point, perhaps, condition an application for future acceptance, but that typically is very limited, so we'll have to see how it goes.
Sounds good.
So, I understand it, we can waive something if we determine it's not,
Required, basically.
not going to mean that we can't properly review, for final review. We could waive it, but we could also then change that later on in the process if we decided, or have as a condition.
In the past, we have accepted applications for the purpose of review, but it does not grant waivers for any material that had not been submitted.
Right.
And the board does have the ability to accept it for sketch review as well.
Say it again, please.
The board does have the ability to accept an application like this for sketch review as well.
So-
Okay, yeah, right, I
So
got you.
of these 4 through 9, we haven't gone over them all yet.
Yeah.
But there would have to be waivers, written waivers requested in order for us to accept it for final review?
I'm not sure if we can waive some of those.
Some of them are not waivable, no.
No, not waive it for approval, waive it for review. of, that's something we've done in the past, multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've also just accepted it without requesting the waivers, but expect them prior to final approval.
Well,
Right.
okay, let's go through them.
Right, which is the same thing. But we'll take it on case-by-case basis, obviously.
I'm not opposed to the sketch review topic. I don't know if the applicant would be in favor of doing that. We'd probably get a lot of stuff talked about without having to do the formality of making sure all of the documents are in.
I mean, if it's possible, I would ask to accept the application, only because it makes it a little bit more formal as far as opinions go of the board, and our, responses are recorded. It's more of a formality, just to make sure that,
No, absolutely.
we're all covered
All right. So
on
let's
both
keep
sides.
We'll keep going down the list then.
Okay.
645, dated evidence that the preliminary plans were submitted to the town departments.
And I don't believe GPI, Scott, they haven't been submitted to the departments at the state, right? You're submitting them tomorrow? Yeah,
Believe so.
yes.
Maybe.
Just say
Is
yes.
that a maybe?
Yes, you will submit them tomorrow.
Signature blocks for the plans.
That can be
those-
added.
Those can be added.
Yeah,
Does
that's
the board
simple enough.
think those need to be in prior to?
Signature blocks, no. The previous one,
Yeah.
And I do want to mention, fire department, nothing has changed as far as the fire department goes. And the fire department did give us approval prior to, and the pre-application. The preliminary application, as far as the septic goes, we already have an approved permit. So basically, out of the departments, the only one that wasn't given
Forgive me
anything was
for
water.
interrupting, but can we stick with this list first so I don't get too confused?
Absolutely.
I mean, at my age, you gotta.
Don't you have a birthday coming up too?
Yeah. You don't want to know, though.
Next one up was identification of the type and amount required for a performance guarantee. In the past, we've kind of waited towards the end of the application because if something changes,
Exactly.
Yeah, that one we can, that we can wait.
draft findings of fact, those will need to be,
Those were submitted, and there is a waiver that was submitted because it was within the 17 days. A waiver was submitted to allow that to be.
We received that on May 22nd, as well as a request to waive Article 510 of the site subregs, which is the 17-day deadline.
And it was just the findings of fact and the financial capability letter.
Draft findings of fact, financial capacity, and then the recorded drainage easement dated May 11th, 2026.
So wait.
So you do have those?
The waiver requests for them.
And that was submitted on what day?
The 22nd, so
it's
you would need to,
beyond our 17 days by
you would
far.
you would need to waive Article 510, which they have requested, which is the 17-day deadline.
An application this size, I mean, I personally may not be in favor of that. But, I mean, we're talking about a big deal right, for the town of York. So I want to make sure, as a member of this board, while I still am, that we treat this application very carefully and substantially, that's all.
We are all on board.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever waived the findings of fact being submitted.
I've never done it. 13 years here, I've never done it. You say they were waived?
There was a waiver.
There's a waiver.
No,
Request.
waivers
Oh,
to accept.
request?
Yeah, it wasn't
Oh.
waived, it's waiver request.
You can't just,
No.
It was a
just
waiver.
because you're cute, you can't just ask for waivers like that.
The waiver was not for the findings of fact. The waiver was for the 17-day. Is that correct,
Yes,
Brandon?
correct. We
Oh, yeah.
submitted the findings of fact, it was just submitted within the
I got
17
it.
days to
Oh,
the
yeah.
hearing.
All right.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
number 5, is 5 the stickiest one?
What, 5? No. Didn't think so.
Water department,
I
but
think 4 and 5.
yeah.
So, and then, I mean, 4 and 5 are basically the same thing, because the only department that had comments on the preliminary plan was the water department.
Okay.
Engineering has gotten a copy. Fire department signed off on it already. Of course, the planning department has a copy as well.
Yep.
Could you speak up, please?
Sure.
The financial capacity, I don't know if that was also submitted. but
That
it's
was
just needed
submitted.
The waiver for the, okay.
Correct.
Thank you. So, how is the board feeling on those 4 and 5 items? Water district.
I'm not waiving it or anything. I don't,
Well,
and I don't think it can be a condition. It's too late then.
it could be accepted for the purpose of review, which would then get it
If-
into a state where we could do a public hearing and have discussions,
Right.
but make a note that we are not waiving any items
That's
by
what we've-
accepting this.
That's fine.
That's what we've done with
We're
other,
talking about doing like a sketch review approach, what you said earlier.
no, this
The
is,
applicant didn't want to do sketch
Okay.
review, but in the past, we have expected material to just come in at the next review.
Okay. I'm trying to be easy.
Yep.
I would agree to that, but this is very complicated, and it just seems like we're getting more and more and more paper every time, so getting things in a timely manner and completed.
Yes, speak up, would you? I'm glad you said that, because people are normally asking me to do that.
I was saying that this application gets larger and larger every round we go, and having everything in a timely manner and completed would be beneficial, because anything on the fly, I understand what you're saying, and I would like to hear what people have to say tonight. But it is getting hundreds of pages and not in a cohesive order all the time, so we need time so that we can put it together.
And if I'm correct, just looking at the first page on here, it says that the items in red were from September 9/5/20. I'm looking on the first page of the review.
That
And,
was October 23.
Oh, that could have been when the material was submitted.
okay, so October. So the last time we saw you here was around October?
October 23rd.
Yes.
Okay, so it's 8 months later, and stuff is still late.
Well, items 4 through 9 are the new comments,
Which were made,
which are the ones that we're commenting, that we're discussing right now.
The 21st of this month, 7.
no, last month, was it?
this month. May.
That's when the review is.
That's when the blue comments.
Well, May is the 5th month, and this
I think
says April.
Chris changed his color coordination. Normally,
Yes.
the last color was the most recent changes, but he's now putting it up front. That threw me for a loop with these 2 reviews.
You have to pay attention.
I know.
Okay, whatever. Let's just waste some
So
time.
here's the other issue.
Yeah.
If we accept it, we could have a public hearing. If we don't, and we have a hearing tonight, we'd have to have another public hearing when we accepted it. People are here. I think none of the items that we would waive, we still, for instance, we still wouldn't approve anything without the public water supply. We still wouldn't approve it without the findings of fact and the financial capacity. None of that would happen. It's just for review. And this allows the people that have made the trouble to get here a chance to have their voice heard, and maybe they can't down the road.
I agree to that.
I agree, too.
I agree.
I agree.
You're okay with that? Mm-hmm. So again, we'd have to waive them.
Additional.
Yeah, it's not a final waiver. It's for the purpose of review.
We could have a motion to waive 510 to accept the findings of fact at least and the financial capacity. If we wanted to discuss those items tonight or at the next meeting, they would just be folded into the record. Is that right, Brendan?
Yes, that is correct.
So if anyone has concerns over those two items, we can wait to,
Right. Typically, that's one of the last things we do, and we're a long way from that right now.
okay.
So do we still have to waive, Brendan? Or can we, what's the procedure here? To waive for the purpose of review?
So that's what I am also kind of wondering at the moment. Because normally, I mean, with items that are turned in after the 17-day deadline, those are, in this case, it'd be a waiver request as well as a couple of late items. The board could accept it for the purpose of review. I'm not sure if that firmly locks it into place as accepted as complete. I think those are two different items.
No, it does not.
Right, just want to make that clear. So,
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair. Despite the fact that it appears that material is absent or not complete, I move that we review the application from Retail Motor Fuel Outlet Tropic Star Development, 834 U.S. Route 1, Tax Map 64, Lot 19, in its as currently presented.
Second?
Is that a second?
Sure, second.
Any discussion on that? Does the board feel that that was?
Do you want me to describe what I meant? I mean, what I mean is,
Yeah.
despite our inability to even determine whether we need a waiver or not, people are here, this is here, we get the idea of what it is. We shouldn't have to have these people be here and go home unsatisfied. So, one way or the other. Let's talk about it. Let's let people talk about it. But now that I'm on the subject, and you're nodding your head back there in the red shirt, okay? You're waking up now. Good.
Took a long time.
So the motion was to accept it for the purpose of review, not to accept it as complete.
Not at all. For the purpose of review.
Yes.
So it's been moved by Pete, seconded by Gail.
Yes.
Any other discussion?
No.
Wayne?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 5-0.
May I make another comment, Mr. Chair? There's a lot of people here, and I have no idea how many want to speak. Sometimes the chair asks people to raise their hand ahead of time so we get an idea. If you have something to say, hopefully you will think about it ahead of time, come up with a solid, quick way to say what it is, what your key point is that you want us to address, and stop, right? And then we will, if we don't understand what you want, we'll ask you, all right? We often have people, not you guys, I'm sure, but we often have people come up here and carry on a whole diatribe about why they don't like it. Okay, fine, or why they do like it. But if everybody does that, we'll be here till tomorrow morning, and I don't want to.
On that note, with large public comment sections, we try to hold the comments to 3 minutes. So we'll have a time clock, and we'll just kind of give you a nod when that 3 minute has been reached and just try to wrap up what you can.
And we also accept written comments and read everything that's accepted to us as well.
And even though you can't see it, at 3.5 minutes, the trap door where she's standing. And then your husband or wife are going to miss you.
Okay.
I'm ready.
A motion.
Certainly are.
Do we need to move? I move that we open a hearing on Retail Motor Fuel Outlet Tropic Star Development 834 U.S. Route 1, Tax Map 94, Lot 19.
It's been moved.
Second?
Moved by Pete, seconded by Wayne. Any discussion? No. Wayne?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Sherry votes yes, 5-0. Out of a show of hands, who is planning on speaking this evening? Okay, perfect, thank you.
Perfect.
I'll take a cue from the select board, but I'm going to go right to left instead of left to right. So we'll start.
So
We'll have you finish that later.
So as far as our presentation, because our presentation might answer some of the questions. I don't know if you want to hear us first and then, or if you want comments.
Open the hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the hearing's open. Typically, we'll have the public comments, and then you can address those after as
Okay.
well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Nicole, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you by doing this.
No worries.
You'll get your chance.
The lawsuit will be filed on Tuesday.
And just for general podium etiquette, I guess, is once you come up to the podium, if you could just state your name and spell it for the recording secretary, and then keep all comments
Okay.
Brendan.
Addressed to the chair.
addressed to the chair, not
So
to
I
the
came prepared.
applicant. Yep.
Good for you.
But I didn't have it, I do have it spelled here, too. Hi, good evening. My name is Linda Mackaman, Linda-Mackaman, and I'm speaking as a resident of Squire Lane. My primary concern this evening is traffic safety. Route 1 is already a heavily traveled and challenging corridor, particularly near the I-95 ramps, Old Post Road, and existing commercial businesses. After reviewing the final site plan materials, I'm concerned that the crash analysis relies primarily on crash statistics and critical rate factors rather than on a more complete evaluation of actual crash patterns. A CRF is just a number. It does not distinguish between minor collisions and serious injury accidents, nor does it explain whether crashes are related to backups, merging traffic, turning movements, or business access points along Route 1. I'm also concerned that the crash analysis appears focused mainly on selected traffic nodes south of the intersection, without equivalent consideration of locations north of the intersection or commercial access points where accidents are known to occur, such as Anthony's and YCSA. Drivers experience this roadway as one continuous corridor, not as isolated intersections. The proposed design may improve safety in one way by providing cars turning left onto Old Post Road a dedicated turn lane, but it may also create new concerns if traffic is backing up, merging down to one lane, or slowing suddenly near the light in the proposed Irving driveway. So my question is not simply whether turning lanes are generally safer. My question is whether this specific design has been evaluated for this specific corridor, including traffic backing up at the light, southbound cars turning left into YCSA, northbound cars turning left onto Squire Lane or Mill Ridge Farm Lane, and vehicles entering the proposed Irving site. I respectfully ask that the applicant or peer reviewers explain whether a predictive traffic safety analysis was performed for this design and how those combined conditions were evaluated. These concerns are especially important given the town's ongoing Route 1 corridor study and the upcoming June 16th public meeting. The Planning Board should exercise caution before approving another high-traffic commercial development in this corridor. This is just not theoretical to me. I personally know two people who were involved in serious rear-end collisions while entering into Squire Lane. A neighbor also shared another example involving a rear-end collision near Squire Lane when traffic stopped for a school bus. So before final approval is granted, I respectfully request that the Planning Board require a more comprehensive traffic safety review that looks beyond CRF calculations and includes actual crash patterns, crash severity, commercial access points both north and south of the intersection, like Anthony's and YCSA, left turns into residential streets, and most importantly, a predictive analysis of the proposed design itself.
Time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Perfect. We
Thank you
do
for this up-
appreciate the support, but clapping kind of just disrupts the meeting a little bit, but thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak before the committee. My name is Alan Gittleson, AlanGittelson. I spoke at the first hearing regarding the preliminary hearing regarding this session. And at that time, I spoke out against the Irving Gas and Convenience Store very strongly, focusing on 2 points, and those I'll briefly outline here today. I hope that the board understands that I appreciate responsible development. I think it's part of the responsibility, indeed, of the planning committee to involve themselves in responsible development. This is not responsible development. It simply isn't. And there are 2 points that I want to emphasize, although I know there may be others that will be raised. The 2 are, first of all, Irving gas stations. They're ubiquitous on Highway number 1. It's a for-profit company. I appreciate that. And indeed, the more gas stations they put up and convenience stores, the better they are. But to use the word ubiquitous is probably an understatement relative to Irving. Not only that, there's an Irving gas station on the same side as the present plans call for, about 5 minutes down the road by Hannaford. There's simply no reason in terms of logical planning from our perspective and from the residents who live in that area, and it's more residential than any of the other Irving gas stations that I've seen. It's more residential than any of the other ones and imposes itself really on a neighborhood that is at the very least questionable regarding this resource. The second point I want to raise is that the noise factor in this area. Among some of us who live, and I live on Old Post Road, we regard that corner of Route 1 and Irving and Old Post Road as, for the use of a better word, motorcycle alley, okay? Anybody who spends any time in that area during the summer and during the spring, and to some extent certainly during the fall, experiences a wonderful collage of noise. I have a motorcycle license. I've driven a motorcycle. I did the thing that you don't want me to do. I took the baffle out of the mufflers so that people could hear me when I was around. That's really nice for me and my safety. It was not good for the neighborhood. In addition to that, there are many trucks that go up that alley feeding into services, not only just in York, but Algonquin and Wells, and indeed further up into Kennebunk. And subsequently, we have large trucks that are going through there. It is simply said very noisy, let alone the cars that have found themselves in a position really to remove their baffles or decide that they want to make a lot of noise. I won't get into the pollution factor. I know I only have a few seconds left to speak. I do want to also point out that I stopped by the police station to find out what the pattern was for summons in that area. And indeed, I learned that in 2025, the comparison dates for May, June, July, and August, during that period of time, a total of 8 summons were handed out. Okay, in the area immediately surrounding that place, the Old Post Road and Route 1. They were for speeding, operating without a license, registration, speed. No specification could I get as to how many were for motorcycles or for loud trucks or noise abatement. And that has not been dealt with, certainly by any report that I've seen. So I raised that question and think it is a serious one to be considered. All of us who have homes in that area or any place in York would consider the noise factor. The last thing I'd like to do is, I obviously don't know what your decision is going to be, and obviously my guess is that you've not come to any final decision. Whatever the decision is, for those of us in this area, may I approach the board, members of the board? I can't.
To hand out material?
Hand out something now. Sure. I promise no violence or anything.
Well, if you give it to the gentleman.
Here, Don, just pass it down.
I would just ask you to consider a sign that I think at least, I'm not a Pollyanna about this, I don't think it's going to solve an issue, but I think it's an important component. We have a wonderful police department and they have lots of responsibilities, but maybe too many responsibilities to try and give tickets to motorcyclists and cars and trucks that pass through there. This is a sign that appears on 95 at the entrance to the Kennebunk station, service station. And it might be a nice idea to put those up in a 3-way sign, whatever your decision is. I hope that decision is against the construction of this particular project. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alan.
Next up, please.
Hi, Thank you. Tim O'Connell, T-I-M, last name, capital O, apostrophe, keep me Irish, capital C-O-N-N-E-L-L. Linda Mackerman, great presentation. That's why they clap for. I am also a resident on Squire Lane, and I didn't type out my stuff as nicely as she did, but came here because I knew that this was going on. I didn't know what it was going to be. First off, is there any way to take the cross street design and put that on there? And put the gas station someplace else? My concern echoes, what's already been said, is safety. I mean, living in Squire Lane, and I've been there since 2009, coming southbound, traffic's going 55 miles an hour. Then it turns to 45, which nobody cares about, it seems. And the same thing northbound. And when you're going northbound and you pass the area where the gas station would be, you go through the lights. That first left onto Squire Lane, we've got 4 kids that got driver's licenses during our time there. And I tell them, when you're there, look at your mirror and you got to tap your brakes because people will just come flying up behind you. And it's already a dangerous area to drive. My concern was seeing the design. What'd you have, like 6 stations in there for fueling? 4? Even 4. The way I saw the design is that it looked like it was wide enough for a car to go in and a car to go out. And if you're doing a fill-up, maybe even buying a bag of chips, I mean, what are you in there, 5 minutes or so? So you're going to have constantly cars like going in, going out. You're going to have traffic going north, going south. It's going to back up. As I see it, I believe it will. It'll back up. It's already seriously congested in the summertime. Coming from the north towards that area, you've got a dip where you can't even see the cars when you're going northbound. You can't see them coming up, coming towards you. So that's already a little bit dangerous. And my concern is with an establishment like this, especially if you've only got a narrow access in and out, you're going to have people looking at their phones, still driving 55, not 45. And it's going to be dangerous. Not only dangerous, it's going to be a nightmare for us trying to get in and out of our neighborhood because of the backup. It's already impossible sometimes in the summertime, especially if you're getting out of Squire Lane on the same side of the road and you're trying to get across 2 lanes to go north. You almost have to go south. It's better. It saves you more time to go south and find a place to turn around and then go north.
30 seconds.
So I don't need 40 more seconds. I think I can just, wrap it up right now. I think it's it's a terrible place for what the business is going to be. It'd be better off if it was a place that, maybe like I'm not going to tell you what to build, but if it was a place where somebody had an office. Go there, park for 4 hours. But cars going in there every 5-6 minutes, in, out, with the traffic light and with people driving 55 miles an hour. I think it's going to be a nightmare, and you're going to hear sirens, personally. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Ben Morong, B-E-N-M-O-R-O-N-G. I live at 859, right between the thrift shop and the motel. And I learned tonight that I am in a butter. I didn't think I was, but if you're in a butter further down, then I am too. And never received any notice, a butter notice that would have come out.
For clarification, I'm not a butter to the property. The entrance to my road is in close proximity of the extended road work on Route 1.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be triggered.
As is my driveway. Yeah. I noticed the traffic peer review from April calls it Old Point Road rather than Old Post Road.
That was obviously a typo. I saw that.
Yeah. And in the combined application materials, I noted that the soil is noted as very stony, being ledge, between 10 inches and 40 inches down from the top of the ground. My concern is that any runoff is going to come across the street and off into Bridges Swamp, which is right behind my house and and Gittleson's house, which is a wildlife area. Let's see. I was here in October for the meeting, and I noted that there was mention that the convenience store was going to have tables and chairs where people could sit down and eat what they bought. And in my opinion, that would make it a restaurant, not a convenience store. And I understood that chain restaurants were not allowed in York. In my opinion, do we need it? Do we benefit? We don't. We already have everything we need within a mile. We have gas station, we have food, and we have all kinds of conveniences at Meadowbrook Plaza. Who benefits? An out-of-state developer and an out-of-state oil company. To put this in, if it didn't need to have the changes to Route 1, that would be one thing. But with the safety issues and the traffic will be absolutely terrible. It is now. It'll be 10 times as bad. I don't think we need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Hello, I'm Glenn Gruba, Glenn with one N, Gruba, Gruba. And I own one of the condos at the Yorkwoods Condo Association in the Aspen building, which is quite one of the closest ones to Route 1. Many of my concerns have already been touched on, and a few things to add. In looking at the traffic assessment, I don't know if they make a distinction between traffic passing through or traffic stopping and going. And I see this establishment as involving a lot of stop and go traffic. Stop and get gas and take off, stop and get something to eat and take off, or it can't be consumed on premises, as I understand it. And possible things such as DoorDash coming in and out for food. And I don't know who has stood next to a large truck taking off and accelerating, but to me that, between cars, trucks, and motorcycles, departing this institution going south, we're going to hear additional noise by reason of that they're just starting from there and accelerating off. And noise is a concern. We have a lot of elderly residents in our condo association. I'm looking forward to the drainage reviews. Last meeting, I think I heard comments that was coming. Reference to Earl Palmer, I believe he's the man, the name that was associated with that. And we would look for any close scrutiny of whatever those reviews show with regard to the health of our pond. Our pond has suffered from invasive Eurasian Phragmites, which we've been in a gallant effort to control and are making pretty good progress. And along those lines also, I would respectfully encourage you to look closely at any questions of how the effectiveness of the oil-water separator is monitored to make sure, again, that we can have some reassurance that our pond is not at risk. We look forward to information on hours of operation, again, related to noise for residents. And we're presuming that was coming soon, and encourage you to look at that closely. Septic treatment tanks, question I would encourage close looking at is the cleanliness of the effluent. How is that monitored after it's left the treatment tanks, and whether that
30 seconds.
Is controlled well. And again, I would echo some of the concerns that this is more than just abutters. It's just the whole town. This relates to the character of the town and how people perceive our town as they go through Route 1. And I have heard comments to the effect, do we need one more gas station? Do we need one more establishment that's going to be viewed as a familiar, a chain-type establishment?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Glenn.
Hi, Mike Stevens, Mikestephens, 5 Squire Lane. I've been there for since 2003, so I think I'm the oldest resident on the street. Been there consecutive, though changing houses. The reality to me is I think all drawings they could put up on the TV should be put in scale. That looked like a Christmas card to me. It did not look like a 4,000 to 5,000 square foot building. So that should be more realistic. I could be wrong, but I doubt it was to scale. First thing I have a concern about is one entrance in and one entrance out. That's for all the customers, oil truck deliveries for gasoline, beer deliveries, food deliveries, and then add 55 cars. Because customers that want to see an Irving and pull in, they're going to stop on Route 1 to make their right in if they're going southbound, and all the traffic's going to back up behind them, and they're not going to be able to get in the driveway because they don't have enough parking. And they only have one way in and one way out. 18-wheeler comes, people are going to be pulling out. 18-wheeler's not going to get in. If he's coming and going northbound, he's going to back up that lane on that side. If he's coming from the other direction, it's going to block Squire Lane and Mill Ridge Farm Lane. And if those are blocked, I'm going to be blocking the lane going northbound to get into my road. But it's going to be blocked. People don't leave a gap for your road. So those roads are going to be blocked. The reality is the lot is too small. It's the wrong space for it. And it just should be a no. And I hope you guys look into that.
Thank you.
Hi, family and friends. My name is Thomas Augustine, Thomas, last name Augustine, Augustine. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and talk before the board. I'll keep it simple and try not to rehash, so I was trying to go through my notes and not recover things that have been covered, but my day job is regulatory compliance for nuclear reactors, and I've stood on both sides of the fence. Before the board moves forward, I think we need to acknowledge that portions of this assessment in its current form are incomplete, including environmental areas, spill prevention, control, and countermeasures. Again, some of these may have been covered, they just were not included in the provided package. And requirements for National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System compliance. Approving anything based on incomplete information puts both the town and residents in a difficult position. There are unanswered questions regarding long-term runoff impacts, traffic, infrastructure strain, and the effect on this project could have on nearby wetlands, as were discussed earlier, and the surrounding properties, mine being one of them. An environmental and wildlife review is not supposed to be a box-checking exercise. It's supposed to give the board and the public a clear understanding of the potential consequences before a decision is made, and not just try to push it through. Right now, that clarity is just simply not there. I'm especially concerned that the several sections rely on generalized assumptions instead of a site-specific analysis. When residents are being asked to trust the process has to be thorough, transparent, and complete at the time of the decision. If we rush through gaps now, the town could ultimately face larger financial, legal, or environmental costs later. We are extremely close to the watershed and the water district property, and I did not see clarity on wildlife protection in that area as well for light pollution, those types of things. I'm not asking the board to reject the project tonight. I'm asking something more reasonable. Pause, get the required information, and ensure the assessment meets the standard that the community deserves before any final approvals are made. So I appreciate you taking my time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
How many more? I thought we only had.
Good evening. I am Gerald Mackaman, spelled Gerald Mackaman. I also live on Squire Lane, directly behind the proposed Tropic Star convenience store and Irving gas station site. I'm not here to oppose the project. I am here to ask that a foreseeable issue be addressed before approval. My comments concern the interface between the proposed commercial site and the residential neighborhoods located directly behind it. Along the rear of the property is a water district access road that runs behind our cul-de-sac. Now, vehicle access is currently restricted by a locked gate. The access point itself is located immediately adjacent to the proposed development site. My concern is that a convenience store and gas station will naturally attract a significant amount of customer traffic throughout the day and the evening. As a result, the area around the Water District Access Road could become an attractive place for people to walk, gather, explore, or even just cut through. Although the gate prevents vehicle access, it does not necessarily prevent pedestrian access into the area behind nearby homes. I'm also interested in understanding, as others have mentioned, the proposed hours of operation. I've not been able to determine what the hours will be, but I believe they are relevant to the board's consideration of potential neighborhood impact. The effects of nearby residents may be substantially different if the business operates only during normal daytime and evening hours versus late night or overnight. Extended operating hours could increase the likelihood of activity near the real property line, as well as potential for noise, lighting impacts, and disturbance during times when nearby residents would normally reasonably expect a quieter environment. For these reasons, I respectfully ask the board to require that the applicants demonstrate how site design will discourage public access from the commercial property onto the Water District Access Road and towards the residential neighborhood. I also ask that the board consider whether additional conditions are needed to address security, lighting, noise, and operating hour impacts on adjacent homes. In particular, I ask the board to consider fencing or landscape barriers, signage indicating that the access is not open to the public, lighting designed to enhance safety without impacting the neighboring homes, and thoughtful placement of the gathering areas, employee areas, delivery areas, trash facility areas that provide some separation from that access to the residential area. I believe these measures would help protect the privacy, security, and the quiet enjoyment of the neighborhood homes while allowing the project to move forward responsibly. I thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Don't be frightened by all the pages. The top one's the important one. My name is Tim Dakota. I'm here representing Charlotte Khoury, who lives at 1 Old Post Road. Having been the code enforcement officer, I realize how important it is that the plans are accurate and
Speak up, we can't hear you.
are accurate and represent what you mean to say. Because when I went out and did inspections, I don't have all the resources. I don't have all my files. I have a plan. It's got to be on that plan accurate. And some of the things that I'd like to see on that plan is I'd like to see a plan note for the freestanding sign. Right now it's showing the lighting coming from the side. I would like it moved forward and aimed back onto the lot. I'm sure we've all been driving down roads, seeing the light source itself from exterior lighted signs. It's a simple change. It doesn't affect the developer's use of the property, and I would hope that plan note could be added. The other thing is 1 Old Post Road is the most severely impacted property. Almost every vehicle that goes in and out at night is going to be shining lights on it. I had a cordial conversation with the developer, Jim Mitchell, this morning, talking about that and requesting that there be a fence erected on that property. There's nothing you can do on 834. The intersection has to be where it is because it's a state highway and that is the intersection. So if you can't do anything there, the planning board can require off-site improvements. And a 30-foot fence, solid vinyl, 6 feet high, that would be maintained by the developer as long as there's a gas station there or the original owner, Charlotte Corey, or her son, Dana, leaves. At that point, the next owners would be responsible for it. We have some agreement from the developer. They'd like to have it responsible for a single year. I disagree with that. The effect of that development is going to be ongoing for the foreseeable future, and I don't think 1 year is adequate. Currently, there's a plan note that says there's a grading easement on the northern side of that lot for the septic system. That does not meet the main subsurface wastewater disposal rules. The rules say that that has to be a permanent easement, not just for the fill extension, but enough area around it so that you can maintain it, repair it, or replace it as needed. So that note should be changed. The heart of what I really want to say is, when I looked at the photometric, I was shocked. They want 50 to 60 foot candles at the dispensers, the gasoline dispensers, and then it drops off pretty suddenly. Basically, the middle of this page, it talks about, this is from a lighting company, and behind it is actually the full article. And the article basically says you don't need 50 or 60. 20 or 30 with a smooth transition is safer for pedestrians. It's safer for drivers. It's also, if it's 60-foot candles, that thing won't look like a Christmas tree. It'll look like searchlights are hitting it.
Seconds.
That's, I think, over the top. This article shows that 20 to 30 is reasonable, and I'd hope that it could be redesigned to lower the foot candles. The ordinance requires one wall sign per building. There's currently 3 on the design. It says that the maximum height of the sign is 15 feet, and that's also incorrectly shown. Again, I can't stress how important it is to have those accurately shown so the inspector does what you want him to do, and make sure he approves what you approved. And the last one, item 6, was a request that the developer explain how the proposed lighting fixtures comply with the shielding requirements. That happened because I was looking at the design and I saw they were down lights, but they didn't look like they were shielded. I noticed in another place they actually had a guard that they were going to add to it. But I think the developer or the people working with them should explain how each light complies or doesn't comply, and assure you that they've made sure that they're shielded either by an exterior shield or by design. Some designs, they just recess it with LEDs, they can do it. You won't see a shield, but it is shielded. So if they could do that, I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay. Anybody else like to speak on this application? Seeing. Oh.
Seeing one more.
You almost lost your chance.
Yes, my name is Darrell Marley, Darrell Marley. I live at 801 Route 1. I have one point to make. The exit from York Woods onto Route 1, particularly turning south, is, well, depending, doesn't matter which way you're turning. We're below the road, and it is very difficult to see cars, particularly if you are trying to turn left. Southbound cars can be very well hidden by just a short line of cars waiting at the light. And I'm not sure how any traffic study can account for that 3D difference. A top-down view, I think, is going to be inadequate. I have no suggestions on how to help true it up or not, but I want y'all to know that that's going to be a problem. It's going to be worse than the paper says because of that height difference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, one more final scan. Anybody who would like to speak on this application? Seeing no hands with no objections, we'll close the public hearing for the public comment.
No objection.
Okay.
Sure.
And we can go into answering some of those questions if you'd like to.
All right. Again, Nicole Duquette, McClure Engineering Company. Some of these comments I will need the help, assistance of Scott Thornton, our traffic engineer, but I can quickly go through.
Scott here?
He is.
You can come sit at the table where the mic is and be ready to go. Get your voice tuned up.
So going through, I'm going to avoid, I'm going to take them a little out of order just so that we can be efficient as possible and try to answer all the non-traffic related comments. So bear with me. I took a lot of notes. I do want to mention, I think the first thing I want to mention that this is a permitted use within the zone. We are within the Route 1-3 district, which allows convenient, it allows retail and it allows gas stations. So it is a permitted use in this zone. The other thing, I mean, we can't help with the noise on Route 1. I mean, that's something that we can't control. However, I do want to point out there was a lot of mention of trucks going into and out of this site. This is not a truck fueling facility. This is meant for, there's no high-speed diesel on this for trucks. This is meant for our passenger vehicles and yes, some commercial vehicles, you know, your pickup trucks from your landscapers and whatnot, but it's not meant for your tractor trailers.
But you will be selling,
We will-
the plan is to sell diesel fuel, though, yes?
Excuse me.
Diesel, so the 18-wheelers cannot fit under the canopy like that.
I understand that, but you
We
will
will be selling diesel fuel, but that's for your landscape contractors that have a commercial, a pickup truck that is for diesel, or your small
I think
RVs.
what they might be referring to is the way that a long vehicle, and you had it on your plans.
Yes.
With a fire truck and with a tanker truck to get around the project.
Yeah, so we are required to do that truck turn plan, one, to allow for our fire truck, and two, for our fuel delivery truck turn. So we are required to do those truck turn plans to allow that it's sufficient for emergency vehicles to get in and out of the site. It's the responsible thing to do. Yes.
I'm giving all you guys the evil eye. You had your chance to talk. Now, as we move forward, please don't comment in any way to what is being reviewed up here. Thank you.
So a lot of these are going to be on Scott's comments, but I can address regard to the soils on the site. We are well aware of the soils of the site. We are aware of the ledge. That is why we put most of the drainage towards the front of the site, underground drainage towards the front of the site. And this has, we did submit both a stormwater report. We submitted the septic system design early to make sure that was covered as well. So the drainage report, it goes, we did, GPI did an excellent job designing the stormwater. It goes above and beyond the main DEP requirements. We are providing the typical deep sump catch basins with oil water separator hoods. Well, our first line defense, we do have the spill containment grooves within the concrete. That does contain your potential human error spills. Further than that, we have the oil water separator hoods in the catch basins, which, again, will allow to contain any floatables and sediments to settle. And then from there, we do have First Defense system. That's a hydrodynamic oil water separator system. So we have that. And then on top of that, we have the oil water separator tanks. So this is, we made sure that we did go above and beyond with our collection and pre-treatment device and treatment devices on this as far as drainage goes. As far as the septic system, we're not required to have a pre-treatment system. We did it because we thought it was the right thing to do. So this isn't just the typical going into a grease trap, going into a septic tank, going into a leaching field. This is going into a grease trap, a septic tank, and then going into a pre-treatment system. So that's an added cost that the developer was committed to do based on the comments and based on the situation of the site. So water effluent leaving the pre-treatment system is pre-treated before it goes to the leach field. So it's coming up with a lot more cleaner effluent than a typical septic system. As far as going back to the drainage, we have mitigated flow rates so that we are not increasing flow rates to the drainage along Route 1, and that does flow into that marsh area across the street. But we have made sure that we've mitigated for that flow increase, mitigated so there's no flow rate increase to that swamp area, and made sure that it was pre-treated and treated. Operation and maintenance of drainage. There is an operation and maintenance manual that has been submitted that the developer is committed to follow for the drainage, and there will be one as well for the septic system for the pretreatment system there. Hours of operation. Jim, help me with this. What did we commit to for the preliminary application?
Do I have to identify myself? So, to the best of my knowledge, there's no restrictions on any of the gas stations as far as hours of operation that exist currently. I believe the hours presently are 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. currently that we're seeing at the Irving station down the street, the Circle K. But it would be based on, or a preference would be based on the business. If it's not busy in the evening hours, it would close earlier than that. If it's busier than that, it would close earlier. Stay open later. Or in the event that we find that 5 is not early enough in the morning, we would, extend the hours in the morning as well. So our intention is to not have restrictions on hours of operation.
As far as, I know there was a comment about drawings to scale. These are drawings to scale that we have submitted. There was a comment about dumpsters being properly located, and I do want to mention that this is the water access road. There's an easement along the side of the property that was referenced. So our dumpster is located close to the building for that reason, because one, we don't want our employees to have to, saying we, but Jim doesn't want to have his employees have to walk a long distance to go to the dumpster. And two, it gets it further away from the abutters lot line. And I do want to mention too, there is this ledge wall. We did mention this at the preliminary application. There is a ledge wall back here. So Squire Lane is in back of us. I do have a map showing where it is in location. So this is Squire Lane back here. This is our lot right here. There is, at the back of our site, we are going to have to blast. I mean, you can see the ledge face from the back of the existing building. There is going to be about a 20 to 25 foot ledge face along that back of the wall. So that will buffer the noise from Squire Lane, not so much Route 1, and I understand that. And Jim has agreed to install a 6-foot fence, 6-foot high fence across the street on the abutter's property. But at least for back here, there is that access road. We can't do anything about that access road. We can't gate that access road because it's not on our property, 1, and 2, it would prevent, that would have to be the water department's approval to gate that, and I don't know if they would do that. We can reach out to them if that's the pleasure of the board to do that. However, we can add signage on our property. I think that's a great idea, adding signage saying that we can't, no trespassing. Sorry, you were?
No, I didn't want you to go too far with that. You know, you can't legislate stupid, right? So if someone wants to go walk through the woods or walk up that trail, they're going to do it. There's any number of ways to get into the Water District trails, which are all over that area. I have one that goes right off the back of my property where I live. So this isn't an issue. We can move on.
Okay. As far as the one entrance in and out for all deliveries, one of the reasons why we did that truck plan is to show that we can efficiently get in and out of it with our delivery trucks. And we use the maximum size delivery truck size on that truck turn plan to show that it can sufficiently, the driveway is sufficiently designed and the site is sufficiently designed to get them in and out smoothly so that it does not interrupt Route 1 traffic. As far as not enough parking goes, there's actually comment in the letter saying that we have more in our review letter that we actually have more than enough parking. I think we're 3 over the ratio, but that's because we have the 3 at the end that are, or 2 or 3 are at the end that are future EV ready spaces. So we wanted to make sure that we brought the conduit there, and if it was determined to install it in the future, that was be ready for those 3 spaces. So we do have more than enough parking on site. The comment about the lot is too small. I think, you know, given the site plan and all that we have on it, it is sufficiently sized for this. And we do have quite a bit of green area around it. We've around it to the west and to the north, and landscaping over to the south. Spill prevention control measures, I went over that with the drainage. I could get more technical with you as far as how much drainage, how much spills, how much those items contain if you'd like, but just in an effort of time, I won't get into that. Environmental review is not just a checked off box. I don't believe we've done that. And I think we've proven with the extra measures with stormwater, extra measures with the septic, that we don't think that it's a box to check off. And with the landscaping as well. We know this has to look nice to be in this area. We know that it has to, with your swamp and being a coastal town, it needs to have more provisions. And that's what we've done. Hours of operation, security. Letter, as far as the signage goes, Tim is very right about the signage. Only 1 sign is allowed per business, so we do need to eliminate one of the wall signs on the building and one of the wall signs on the canopy, which we will do so. We are allowed up to 15 foot high. We will provide, you know, the signs will meet the zoning ordinance, and we'll make those revisions. As far as the lighting goes, we do a lot of, both GPI and McClure do a lot of gas station sites, and it is standard to have the lighting levels that high, within the 50 and 60. It does range under that canopy from 60 to 25, I think is the lowest under that canopy. That is kind of industry standard to have that. And it does dissipate, and that high lighting level is actually, that 60 point is right at the dispensers. This is a better view of it. So it is right at the dispensers, and then it dissipates as you get to the edge of the canopy. So this is something that the lighting company puts together for us, showing the intensity of light. So the intensity of light under the canopy is the hottest, but then it does gradually dissipate out to the edge of the sites. And we do meet the regulations as far as the zoning ordinance goes for light trespassing. We meet the IES code that 20 to 30 in the IES code is not a regulation requirement for that. We do meet the full cutoff fixtures because these are recessed lights. There's no bulb that goes beyond the fascia, the top of the bottom of the canopy. So they're recessed. So like Tim had said, the recess acts as a shield. And then the other fixtures on site are full cutoff. So they're dark sky approved, full cutoff fixtures. So they do meet the requirements of both the town's regulation and IES. And I think it's time to hand it over to you, Scott.
Okay.
And then I just have a couple things to add after that. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Nicole.
Before you go, Mr. Chair, you have a decision to make.
Yeah, we're getting towards the end of the allotted time.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to bring up?
As a board,
Scott, how long do you think you need?
10 minutes, 15 minutes?
that's two different numbers.
Correct.
I'm good at
If we
that, right?
extended another 15 minutes, then maybe.
Then we have our time. We're gonna need some time. Don't we get any time?
I can do it in less.
There's the man after my heart. Look at this. You
Yeah,
just
we need
have-
to be thorough.
you
We do
just
want
have
it
to
thorough.
negotiate a little
What,
bit.
another 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
15 minutes, can you
15 minutes.
work with?
Okay, 15 minutes will.
Please.
Total.
You'll be back anyway, you know you're gonna be back.
Right. We're
And-
gonna
and
see
before
you
we-
again.
Before we forget this, there was a number of comments in the peer review of the traffic study. Most of them were minor, but there were some other ones and some other ones that were raised. This will give you time before you meet with us again to answer all those questions. You don't have to answer all those tonight, in my opinion.
Anyway, we have one other application, which, if I recall from what I did before, should be quite quick, but unfortunately, we're leaving them to wait.
Let's see if we can make this work.
And before we move on, this isn't taking from your time either.
That's
for the record. I just wanted to go over some of the points you had made. Goral Palmer has peer reviewed the stormwater management.
Yes, stormwater management as well as traffic and other engineering concerns.
And as far as the septic, the town has approved their design.
Yes, the town in conjunction with the state has already approved and permitted the septic system.
Okay. I just wanted to let the public understand the applicant's job is to make sure they're meeting the letter of the ordinance. Our job here is to make sure that they are doing so. But we are lay people when it comes to the engineering side of most things. So we rely on the experts. If we need clarification of certain experts, we can ask for technical assistance or have the team's engineers try to describe it to the best they can to us. But as far as regulating things that aren't within the book, we can't really ask for things that aren't the law of the town. So with that being said, lighting was brought up. Is there a consideration for a reduction of the canopy lighting, or are you
Let me look
set
into
on
it.
that? Okay.
Since we know we're coming back, let me look into it and see what we can do.
And also, it's raised a little bit from the road level.
Yes.
So there's that too. So I don't know whether manufacturer's photometric plan takes that into consideration, but maybe you will too.
And one other item, this is the last point or question I have. For the Water District Trail, the access, I think if the landscaping or the lot design at least didn't make it look inviting, like it was an open trailhead, if there could be, I haven't looked at the hidden or at least not like glaringly, come check me out kind of thing.
I mean, I think,
It's not now, there's trees.
yeah, I think,
You wouldn't know it's there now.
I
so.
think landscaping is probably the better way to go along there, so maybe we add
That could
some
be looked at just a little
tall
bit.
shrubs over there.
If you're done. Right?
That's all I have for now.
So in JJB Engineering's notes, they talked about the grease trap that wasn't sized correctly.
Yeah, there's just a note that wasn't, that we need to fix.
It should be 3,000, should it? 3,000, it
We
says.
can do, I mean, I prefer the larger ones because I feel like it's more protection.
It says, but the
It's
grease
not
trap
required to be
detail on sheet
3,000, but-
14 is for 1,500.
Yep.
Revise it to be 3,000.
We have no problem with being
Yeah.
3,000. I like
Okay,
it better.
Thank you.
Everyone good to move on to traffic? Please.
Great. So, Ms. Mackman raised some questions about the crash analysis, the safety analysis. And the analysis that's in the report and the TMP application is what's required by by Maine DOT. There is, as far as I know, and we were checking this, there is no requirement to prepare a predictive crash analysis, and the difference between this sort of standard analysis and a predictive analysis is the predictive analysis looks at looks at the existing data, but also looks at measures that have been proven to address or reduce the crashes that would occur. One issue with that is that it requires something called crash modification factors, which tend to vary greatly from region to region, from state to state. And so without there are national CMFs, they're called. They're national ones that are available, but they may not be appropriate in a place like York, which has sort of a local contingent of population and then changes in the tourist season. So the predictive analysis, the predictive analysis was not done. I don't know if that's proposed to be done as part of the corridor study, but that is more of a planning type of safety analysis and not something that gets done for an impact assessment, such as what's been done for this project. There are a number of high crash locations that Maine DOT asked us to look at. Those happen to be south of the site. They don't happen to be north of the site. It's not saying that crashes don't occur and haven't occurred north of the site. In fact, we looked at some of the crash data. I think there were 2 crashes that occurred at Squire Lane in the period from 2023 to 2025. There were 4 crashes that occurred between Squire Lane and Old Post Road during that same time period. There was a bicycle crash that occurred on where the bicyclist was, I believe, traveling north on Route 1 and was struck by a car that was turning left into Old Post Road. So those crashes do occur, but the fact that measures to address those specific items or those specific locations, be they north of the site or away from the site, away from where the traffic signal is proposed, isn't really a failure of the study. It's just not something that was required for this analysis. The traffic signal that exists there now, and I think I mentioned this before, you couldn't build that now, right? Because what that does, it has two general purpose lanes in each direction and permitted left turns. So when you're making a left turn, you're crossing two through lanes coming in the other direction. And DOT was very clear saying that the signal equipment at this location had to be replaced, because I think it's also the oldest traffic. This intersection has the oldest traffic signal equipment in town. I believe that the town engineer had mentioned that, and they have a tough time finding parts for it. What's proposed with, as a condition of this project is the installation of new traffic signal equipment, which will improve safety. Exclusive left turn lanes, which will improve safety. Those are noted to improve safety. You'll have left turns on Route 1 making, they'll have an exclusive phase where it's just them making left turns into Old Post Road and into the site drive. And Old Post Road traffic gets more of the benefit of that improvement because they've got the heavier movement, the heavier volume making a left turn into their roadway. In addition, there's pedestrian signal equipment that's proposed where there'll be a crosswalk, so you can push a button, wait for the light, you'll get a walk indication. Pedestrians can cross Route 1. There'll be a sidewalk on the frontage of the site. It's going to start off as a segment. It's not going to. There won't be anything on one side. There won't be anything on the other side. But eventually, and maybe in conjunction with the corridor study and any funding or any design projects or construction projects that come out of that, there may be a proposal for for sidewalk on one side or both sides of Route 1. This is also going to widen the shoulders to provide a standard width for bicycle lanes. So it'll be a dual use lane. It'll be a shoulder and a bike lane, but that's another element of that's another improvement that's being included to address safety and improve safety. The right turn lane into the site, that's something that, there are certain warrant level or threshold levels of traffic volumes that are called warrants, and above a certain volume, you look at the warrant analysis for the turn lane, whether it's a right turn lane or a left turn lane, and if it's above a certain level, you should install a right turn lane. That's the case here. So Maine DOT asked us for that analysis. We did that analysis. It showed that a right turn lane was warranted. So the project has a right turn lane, and that's a safety improvement because it pulls right turning traffic going into the site out of the through movement. So that, and there's enough space for in the right turn lane. What I mentioned, the sidewalk that's proposed. The crossing of that right turn lane is further into the site. So there'll be space for cars to queue up if need be to make the right turn. Cars making the right turn can wait for somebody to cross the crosswalk there. Try not to take too much time. As Nicole mentioned, we can't do much about noise. We looked at sight distance from the driveway in both directions on Route 1. We measured over 710 feet so we exceed the requirements for Maine DOT sight distance and also for AASHTO.
And that plan is provided in the traffic study and the TMP application.
There, one thing about Squire Lane, I don't know, Nicole, if you could, is this the full plan?
It is. It's just zoomed out.
Oh, that's the right turn lane you were talking about.
Yep.
Yep. So, so just to the north is Squire Lane. And so, we can't, to put in more than what's being proposed with the 2 lanes headed northbound, the 1 lane headed southbound, and the exclusive left turn lanes, to do more than, doing more than what's proposed on this plan is beyond what the applicant can do. But in this case, where we're proposing to merge the 2 lanes southbound on Route 1 into one, this alternating zipper type merge is in place I know it's in place on Route 9, it's in place in other locations in Maine, and it's a very efficient way of traffic merging together. What this does is when it gets to Squire Lane, that traffic that may want to turn left, instead of going across 4 lanes or having to look for gaps in the southbound traffic in both lanes, and look for gaps for traffic heading north in both lanes. Now at least there's only 1 lane headed southbound for them to make that movement. In terms of other, I think there was a comment about the York, is it the thrift shop? Yeah. So right now, what's proposed is a striped median. So that could be crossed, but this design doesn't show a break in that median. We could provide breaks for the driveways to that site if Maine DOT accepts it. I think that's it.
This is really the key thing that you're waiting for Maine DOT, because these kind of safety measures are what is effectively slowing traffic or reducing traffic on Route 1, and that's what you need the Maine DOT to sign off on. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we proposed this design. What we had initially was a 3-lane section, and we're trying to work with the existing geometry that's there, and this is an improvement in capacity from what we had before. It's a much safer design with the exclusive turn lanes. And then, I think with what we're waiting for with Maine DOT is just the process. It's just their review, seeing if they're comfortable with this design. There may be some tweaks, as there have been continual tweaks.
And they don't take this lightly, so
No, they don't.
No.
Can I add one thing? It'll just take 10 seconds. The only thing I wanted to say, and Scott's done a good job, I'm sorry to those that find it incredibly boring, but the painted section, I just wanted to, just so that everybody understands, the painted median section, we worked with DOT and asked them, in some sections, did you want rumble? Did you want curbing? And they said, no, we want painted. We have to maintain it. We want it painted so that we can plow this in the wintertime and not have these poofs of snow or packs in the middle of the road that are going to cause further issues. So every step of the way, we've been working with DOT to get feedback on anything that we need to address. So just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Anyone in the board have questions, comments to add to
I have some comments. for-
In relation to this?
To this,
We'll
yeah.
have more time.
Yeah.
No, in relation to this.
I'm not sure if all the questions that the public comment asked were addressed with that.
But that's what we have another time to do.
Yeah, to bring all that back up.
Yep.
We do have Dean here, which is a rare occasion. I don't know if he was planning on speaking tonight. So if you have anything you think the board and the public would be interested in hearing, definitely entertain it.
No.
Not to throw you on the spot, I figured if you were here, you were.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Dean Lassard, Engineering Director. I have two comments and two concerns, and one is more procedural. By state statute, this development generates more than 100 trips in the peak hour. Therefore, it requires the DOT to give a traffic movement permit. And it's all basically mostly off-site improvements, a lot of what you're looking at here with the signal and the lane configuration. I think it would be a mistake to move forward or approve this project before DOT comes and makes their requirements of the developer as far as the intersection control and lane usage, et cetera. Otherwise, we lose our ability that if we're not satisfied with what DOT recommends, we still have that opportunity to ask for more in that situation. Or this plan could totally change. This is what the developer is proposing. It's not necessarily what DOT will agree to. So I think before you make your final decision, you should see what that final plan looks like or what DOT is accepting.
So you're saying we could go above what the state is requiring if we felt it was deficient?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other concern or comment I have is that if you look at this plan and we're giving up capacity, you lose a through lane to a left turn lane, which again may or may not be safer because it may just cause other types of accidents, right? It could, if all of a sudden you start getting back up at that single lane, instead of getting left turn accidents, you're getting rear end accidents or something else occurs, in which we don't know because it doesn't exist out there at this time.
You're saying northbound, we're losing a through lane.
You lose a through lane in both directions.
Both ways.
No, just
No.
southbound.
No, there's
Southbound already has a turn lane.
going northbound. There's one through lane going
They
southbound.
maintain the two, I'm sorry, yes, just the southbound. I think that plan has changed.
It has.
Since the last time I looked at it. That is a concern of mine. We got this big study going on. We don't know what the future is going to hold and what is produced from that corridor study. Once we give up that capacity, if we need to get it back, that falls on us, and then we pay for that loss of capacity that we give up now. So I wish my crystal ball was better every day. But I do have concerns about that loss of capacity at this time without enough information to make a good decision.
Right, but if the Maine DOT approves a site that gives up capacity, that's not our problem anymore. That's not our responsibility.
It is our problem because if we want to do something different, then we would have to pay to undo what has been done or add capacity for whatever we foresee the future being for this corridor in this area. And this definitely is right in the heart of that corridor study, which we have a public hearing on June 16th.
Mr. Chair, I have a couple of. Yes. Okay. First off, as far as the plan was presented, there has this long tail in each direction, if I use that word, for allowing a person to stay on the right-hand side, to going southbound to come into the station. Okay, for one thing, if you live in town, you know the station's there. You don't need the tail. If you don't live in town, it's uphill. You're never going to know the station's there until you're already on it. So to my way of thinking, you don't need on your design the long identified right-hand lane to anticipate turning into this station going southbound at all, because either you know it's there or you don't, and you're going to be surprised, oh, there's a gas station. By the time you get there, you're already there.
So Pete, that tail, as you call it, is there's certain design standards that the developer will be held to by DOT and by my comment. And that tail is what they call as a deceleration lane.
And that was required by DOT because
Right.
we
So
had it
Let me ask you
originally.
this, Dean.
but
So
no.
right now, today, going southbound, there's a left-hand turn lane. Southbound. Southbound.
No.
They're both through, it's a through and left.
Not a turn lane, yes. I'm sorry, there's if you want to turn left, you have to get in the left and stop and wait for an arrow.
Correct.
Unless the green light lets you go, right. Going northbound, there is no such thing because you wouldn't want to turn into an empty lot right now, right? I've been here many years. I've been here in the middle of the summer, weekends, and I'm generally to go anywhere because I live in Whippoorwill. I have to go through there, right? I have never had to wait for two lights ever in either direction at any time of year based on the existing current traffic flow. Never. One light and I'm through. So all this consideration about trying to deal with this overload of traffic at that intersection is a bunch of bull, as far as I'm concerned, because it works. And if you had the same kind of left-hand turn lane as you now have southbound, if you had it northbound, similarly, how many people are going to go into the station? What did you say, 100 trips an hour? Is that true?
In the peak hour, it's over 100
And so
trips.
50 going each way, let's say. That's less than one a minute. I
The
mean,
state doesn't want that.
no, okay, I'm saying, as we look at it realistically, we have to follow the ordinance, we have to follow the state stats and all that stuff. But let's, in our minds, keep track of reality, right?
And the reality is, too, that if we were under the 100 vehicle trips, we would not be required to do the TMP. We would not be required to do any offsite improvements. So the town is actually benefiting from this because they are getting new signals that are desperately needed.
Yeah.
They are getting left turn lanes. The improvements that we did, the reason why we did them this way is because it is a lot easier. It's a lot more cost effective to grow than it is to shrink. So if we expand this too much and the town and state have to reduce it because of a road diet, that's going to be more expensive. So that consideration was made too.
Sure, okay.
So I just got one comment on that. Just because it was under 100 trips doesn't mean they would not be required to replace that signal or do improvements here. The town would require that. DOT does not maintain this section of road. It is under town maintenance. It's in the compact area. So the plowing and everything that gets done, striping, that is on us. And we respond to the accidents that occur there. And when that signal goes down, that is something that DPW or our contractors respond to, not the state of Maine. Because they're over 100 trips, that means they have a second process to go through. First, the state, and then ours. So a lot of these requirements would still be on them whether they have a TMP or not.
But am I correct that Maine DOT makes all the decisions about how that road is designed? They don't maintain it, we do. Like you said, everything, snow plowing, everything.
It is
But
a
if you
state
wanna-
road.
If you want to make lane changes, designs, or move that light or anything, isn't that Maine DOT that controls that?
So, no, when the road, if they were to come in with a project, a state-funded project, and they would do the project and then stripe it and do whatever they want. However, the town is responsible for maintenance of that section of road. So when
No,
that
I meant-
road gets restriped, or if we want to make a change, it's under our authority as the
Overseers.
Including if we want to make a change as a result of this application.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's.
Their requirements
I
don't restrict
misunderstood
our
that.
requirements as a partner in this road, as we're responsible for maintenance.
I did have a misunderstanding on that. That helps. Thank you, Dean.
You're welcome.
Question of a previous project, it's somewhat similar and in close proximity, the Short Sands Road intersection. Were you involved with that?
Yes, I
at that
was.
point?
Yeah, just slightly.
I feel that it is somewhat similar of an intersection. Where
Yes, it
it's
is.
kind of a four-way. Was there a reason why there wasn't a deceleration lane for those two businesses up at the hill?
because the project was access on the public ways. So we were not looking to accommodate the private businesses that were already existing there. We designed the intersection to accommodate the public access. This is a private access that is coming out onto the public highway. So they're required to do these public improvements for their access.
It was more of the design question, if a reduction in the lanes or the lane diet, is that what they call it?
Road
So road diet
Road diet.
is when you have a facility or a roadway infrastructure that is more than you need and you make less capacity.
Was there
slow
consideration of doing
slow
that similar thing at that intersection, or was the capacity
So
needed at that?
the private businesses that the Short Sands Road intersection, their entrances are at their intersection. So those turning movements are controlled by the traffic signal. So they're already slowing down at a red light or et cetera. Whereas this, they've got their right turn in ahead of this traffic signal.
Right. So could something similar be done as the?
By
Short
doing
Sands-
that, it extends that decel lane further back. Whereas if they had moved the right turn just at the entrance, that decel lane would be mostly in front of their property, not going back.
The good thing about this is that the exit in either direction is controlled by a traffic light. When you get to that exit, you have to wait for a green light. Old Post Road is on the other side, and you're on this side. They're not going to exit out of there if there's a green light on Route 1. They shouldn't. It ought to be that they observe the red light that's right at their exit.
So the need for that decel lane and right turn lane is based on the amount of trips making that right turn in. This development is generating enough right turns that by DOT standards requires a right turn lane in.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's because of the number of vehicles that are making that movement are so large that they
Southbound.
believe it's necessary to have that right turn lane.
Southbound, you're saying, that one.
Southbound, correct.
Yeah, I think there should be a deceleration lane. I just wonder if I'm putting it the way it's designed, which is all the way down to the yarn shop or something. It's way too early, and again, if people don't live here, they're going to know they need to turn, because they won't know there's a station. And if you do live here, you're not going to get over there right away and crack along the edge because I better be able to make my turn in a half an hour. You know, I mean.
Yeah, that's something that DOT has certain standards on those right turn pockets and the decel lane. So that's not a concern of mine. It may be a concern of property owners that live adjacent to that, where there's that extra lane. I know where David lives. Yes.
Well, I needed to air up my finger.
Any more questions for Dean since we have him this evening?
No, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we having fun yet? That's my thing.
So we are 2 minutes over where I was hoping to wrap this up.
Good job. Thank you, Dean.
So we will regroup with this. I'm sure there'll be more questions and hopefully more answers and hopefully more submitted material the next time you guys are here.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Now let's take a quick break.
Yeah, and we'll take a 5-minute break, but as people are leaving, if they can just shuffle out and have conversations in the lobby versus in here.
Absolutely.
All single lane down to CVS.
And, you know, I just,
York River Landing,
and they were.
it's single lane already.
Right.
Oh,
On a Sunday when everyone's leaving.
Oh.
That's gridlock.
And I'm tired of it.
That's my concern.
So on a Sunday when everyone's leaving Ogunquit, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
If anybody decides they want to turn left at Old Post Road, it does the same thing, doesn't it?
I think that may have been
People
not
have
on
to,
the merits.
you have to get in the right, or once they get in the left, unfortunately, you realize, oh my God, everybody's turning left. Now I got to see if I can fight my way into
Yeah, the
right.
jockeying starts.
Isn't it? Isn't currently the same situation?
Oh, yeah. We'll gotta wrap this up.
I have, well, and,
Okay.
you know, 100 an hour is a lot. That's a lot, especially when it's one way.
All right.
Okay.
That was no fun at all. I loved it.
All right.
Whoops.
Well, hello, back up. We have York River Landing, York River Landscaping.
Thank you.
Final site plan. Welcome. If you could just state your name and spell it for the record.
Sure. Thank you. Drew Olehowski with Haley Ward. That's spelled D-R-E-W and O-L-E-H-O-W-S-K-I.
Thank you. I'll have Brendan tee us up with the summary of where we're at.
So this item was before y'all a couple of months ago for preliminary approval. We're received its preliminary approval. The project itself, it's a 1 acre parcel including an existing duplex building that is being used to house employees and a small office space, and provides yard space for landscaping, vehicles, equipment, and materials. The applicant is seeking approval for establishing a new commercial use on the property to support current landscaping maintenance and service business. During the last meeting, we established that the duplex cannot exist as a duplex anymore. It is a single dwelling unit on the property, which they have noted on the plans, or on the revised plans, I should say. And the property is located on the Route 1-2 zone with access to public water.
Wonderful. So Chris's review stated the plan appears to be complete and has addressed previous comments. So the next step would be to, if the board feels it is appropriate, to accept the plan for final review.
No more comments. I'll make a motion then to accept the final plan application as complete for review for Garden Center, York River Landscaping, 272 US Route 1, tax map 59, lot 19.
Second.
It's been moved by Wayne, seconded by Steve. Any discussions? Wayne?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Dale?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 5-0. Next, we will request a motion to open public hearing.
Mr. Chair, I move that we open the public hearing for Garden Center, York River Landscaping, 272 US Route 1, map 59, lot 19, and map 18, map 59, lot 19.
Second.
Motion is moved by Pete, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? Wayne?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Dale?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 5-0. With that, the public hearing is open. Seeing no one in the audience, unless there's someone hiding behind someone, we will open and close the public hearing if there are no objections. And we can move into discussing Chris's review. There seemed like it was mostly complete and in agreement, except for a few items.
Right, and staff had a couple of comments on some of the points as well, mostly centering around the landscaping plan,
Yes.
as well as just a couple of plan notes, things on that side of things. So with the landscaping plan, 6.3 does require, has a point system for the landscaping requirements. We would request that on the landscaping plan, there actually be the calculations for, just to show how the ordinance has been met with those planting counts, as one would call them. And just maybe pay close attention to the side yard buffer as well, just because with the number of parking spaces on the property, we want to try and reduce the amount of potential glare and lighting that goes from trucks, so to speak, into the neighboring properties. So keeping a very good close eye on that and just making sure on the plan that everything is noted and meets the ordinance with that.
So you're in 16 and 17 on page 12?
Yes, I believe so. Let me
Yeah.
get head there. That was one of the biggest ones from staff. So,
And a smaller one was on page 10, 13B, plan comments, just about that the notes and titles, town standard plan notes should not be on the landscape detail sheet.
right.
Otherwise, I went through it a couple times over the last week, and those are the only two things that stood out.
Right, and the notes are probably just, that's how we convey what is permitted and the standards that are on a plan, so we just need to make sure that everything is spelled out on there, the uses, the dwelling unit that's on there saying, this is only one dwelling unit, with these number of bedrooms, that would be helpful on the plan. So things of that nature would be beneficial to have, and if the town plan notes can't fit on one sheet, then they can have their own sheet. We've had plenty of plans in the past that have had that information on there.
Okay,
Is that your third point, the town notes be
Yes,
updated? Okay.
yes.
Can you briefly go over your second point? It was regarding glare.
Glare, that was just some conversation
It's on
between
page 12.
planning staff and code as well, of just making sure that the side yard buffer that goes along the side access road that was on here, making sure that the vegetation there is dense enough, so to speak, to prevent headlights from probably going across the boundary and into the neighboring property.
So sides.
And does that require then a plan note?
That is up to the board. That would be up to the board just to make sure, just because that is a very specific request. We just think that it would behoove the applicants to do such a thing.
As far as increasing plantings or to have a note?
Increasing plantings over there, just
Okay.
so,
So
having it reflected on the landscape plan, I know that's an easier change for y'all.
Sure. And we do have a note on there. There's existing vegetation on either sides of the parking lot, and we have our proposed trees shown along with a note saying to try to put those plants in any gaps in the existing vegetation, just to fill any holes that there might be already. But there is a pretty dense screen existing on either side.
So that note
So we'll be
is stated
supplementing
to
that.
fill in with plantings.
Yep, that's on there already.
Am I correct that this is the place that has a stockade fence and cars park up against it right on the road?
Yep, that's correct.
So what are we talking about here?
The
Is this
side.
gonna-
The side yards.
Side and the front.
Left side?
Okay,
Left
the
side?
side.
Right,
Yeah.
left side,
South side.
there's a house right.
Yeah, south
right
side,
across there, and if they parked with a light, or had the headlights shining, it would shine in the.
If they're behind the fence on the other side, no?
Just driving around the building, right? Like turning in.
I guess what I'm thinking overall is that every time I drive down there, I think that isn't the nicest design. That isn't it's very unattractive in a way. You're driving down
With
Route 1, and here's eight cars parked against a stockade fence on dirt.
I think these changes will address a lot of those.
Right, since this is, again, a new use on Route 1, it does have to meet Route 1 design standards.
Yeah.
So putting your best face forward.
Plantings.
Right.
There's some daylilies and shrubs, I believe, I saw on the landscape.
So is the
plan.
stockade
Yep, in the
fence
front
going to
yard.
remain, or is it going to go out and the cars are going to push back and it's going to have landscaping along Route 1 instead of what I see?
No, the plan is still to have cars out front there, but we do have more vegetation around that area to screen the existing building and the business in the
Yeah,
the
but
rear.
that doesn't in any way fix or change the look of those cars. They're basically a line of, you know what I'm talking about? There's 6 or 7 cars in a row with the tail end of the car right on the edge of Route 1. They're on dirt, and then there's this stockade fence that they pull up to. And it's totally counter to anything else along the road. Nothing else looks like that. And I I don't know how we got this far in this thing, I wasn't paying attention, that we shouldn't have said, you know, get rid of the stockade fence and figure out how to park those cars the other way, somehow, on the front of the property, you know.
Yep.
But maybe it's too late.
So my apologies. We actually, looking at the existing plan and the site plan, we are proposing to remove that pavement in front of that fence, and that is going to be revegetated.
I wish I had.
Yeah, if you look on sheet,
Yeah, if I could control my paperwork here, maybe I could.
sheet C2.
C2.
Yep, you can see that whole area of pavement to be removed right along Route 1. And then if you go to the landscaping plan, you can see we have a new grassed area with a tree going in that spot instead.
Here, I've got it pulled up. So pavement to be removed, they're going to remove that, what looks somewhat parking lot-like, and add plantings.
It's not, it's interesting because it's not really pavement, it's dirt, but that's okay. So, are you saying that there's actually pavement there where there's cars parked?
It's gravel, but yeah.
Gravel, thank you, okay. So cars will not park there anymore?
Nope, the idea is for them to be in the rear of the site with the reconfigured parking lot.
And that's going to be landscaped where it's being removed.
Yeah, and that's shown on the landscaping plan. That's on there already.
I don't care how you do it.
Sure, it's better than.
I just care it gets done.
Sure.
Thank you.
So,
That's good.
does town staff feel that the planting calculations are accurate? Or, sorry, let me back up. The plantings proposed would meet the calculations and satisfy it? The data or the math is just not clearly listed on the plans?
The math is not clearly listed on the plans. When we asked the peer reviewer to go through that, we did not get an estimate back on whether or not those calculations were correct. So we just asked that the applicant on the plans just clearly show how that work was done and how they arrived at those numbers for that.
Okay, so would it be important for us to say calculations showing compliance with the landscape, calculations showing compliance with the landscape ordinance?
Yes, which I believe is in Article 6.3 of the zoning ordinance.
Thank you.
And by being part of the buffer, that means that should something die, it has to be replaced.
Correct.
So that buffer is maintained. And what do we need to get?
I've got 3 little things so far. Coral Palmer did have a note about the silt sock.
Yeah, they had that note during their last review, and I did miss that, getting these plans revised. It's just a minor erosion control device. They won't call it out on the plan, so I can add that.
Okay.
A silt sock.
Silt sock.
Sometimes my socks get silt.
To be utilized.
Now, can this be done with conditions or?
I feel like they're yes or no's. That's what I was working on over here. The one I have first would be calculation showing compliance with landscape ordinance in 6.3. Side yard buffer for lighting glare addressed. Town site notes needing to be added to the plan set. And a silt sock to be utilized and the plan updated.
That sounds like it got most of it.
Yes, I do believe so.
You pass that on to Gail so that she can read the, if she's so inclined.
I can work it through with you too.
I was going to say, I'm trying to read some of Chris's comments.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm.
We're not there yet then.
Okay.
Yeah, town standard notes.
sorry to have kept you waiting, by the way,
no problem.
tonight. But this also has been one of the longest running shows we've had on this board for some time. And I, for one, am ready to be done with it one way or another. Did we already accept the part about the lease? Is that?
Right, yeah, the lease, and talking with code, they're fine with taking just the notice every year that the lease is being maintained or if it's going to be vacated. They're fine with that. The family relations aspect, that they still believe they don't have really the capacity or the time to really handle. That's just determining that all the members there are one family. It's just a little too involved of work to.
That's like two families related or something like that. It was.
Yes, something of that nature. But as far as the access goes, then yes, code is fine with taking on the letter every year just to say that the access is being maintained, or if they plan on vacating that access.
And that's properly noted somewhere.
I believe Drew did include that on the plan. I think it's on the primary site plan sheets.
That's on sheet C3.
I've got the conditions typed out if anyone wants to take a stab at it.
We're gonna approve this, right?
What's that? I was feeling it was headed that way.
Yeah.
Are there items in the review or about the application that any of the board members have more questions on?
Not I.
Looking through this, Chris seems to have
Or is it?
signed off on almost everything.
Other than the no further comments notes, it was either provided clarification or something similar to Public Works is no longer requesting lighting,
Right.
items like that.
Well, I went through twice, and there was only those two things that I saw that weren't satisfactory or ignoring.
I feel like you did a good job addressing all the preliminary comments into finals, so that was a nice,
I think so.
refreshing.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Does anybody have any more commentary?
Just these conditions here.
So, Mr. Chair, I move.
We can go over them real quick if we want to just make sure. So, as typed, calculations added as
I can read it.
to the plans to show compliance with the landscape ordinance in 6.3.
Note that side yard buffer will be capitalized side yard. That's good. Never mind. Will be added and maintained to reduce glare. Standard town notes be added to the plan set. That is so talking bias and updated. Wait. And the plan updated.
Yeah, I knew you were going to catch me on that. And the plan to be updated.
Take out on the plan.
Thank you.
Make sure when you say it with the right capitalization.
Gotta enunciate that capital
The
S.
first word is capitalized.
I'm
the
going to
second
change
one
it.
is not.
It won't be by the time there it is, done.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the application.
Approve.
Approve the app, thank you. You're the one that usually does that. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the application from Garden Center, York River Landscaping, 272 US Route 1, map 59, lot 19, with the following conditions. That calculations are added to the plans to show compliance with the landscaping ordinance in 6.3. That a note is added that the side yard buffer, that there is a note that the side yard buffer will be added and maintained to reduce glare. that standard town notes be added to the plan set, and that a silt sock be utilized and the plan is updated to address peer review comments.
I'll second that.
It's been moved by Pete, seconded by Gail. Any further discussion? Wayne?
Yes.
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 5-0.
Thank you, everyone. Finally.
It's a long road, but we got there.
Definitely.
Thanks for pushing through with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Your minutes and findings.
You managed to get it done before your retirement, so that's.
And even before pizza time.
I was going to say, he's got a couple years left in him.
Well, we do have some minutes that I saw out there, right?
Minutes and findings of fact, yeah.
Yeah.
And on the minutes for May 21st, which were pretty basic,
Yes, they were.
I did see one thing.
What you got?
Right up front on line 7, I wasn't here, so my name should be crossed off. It says a quorum was present consisting of 5 voting members. I think it should say 4 voting members. And my name scratched off as the first one after the colon.
Well, but wait, we
Crystal was
added, we
here.
added Crystal as a voting member, so we ended up with 5.
Yeah.
Gail, Wayne, Steve, and Crystal. I only count 4.
So it's consisting of 5 voting members, but
Oh.
Pete was not here.
Right.
But you were here.
You were
so-
here.
So that's 5.
David,
right.
David was the fifth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You can
I
count
see.
yourself.
I see what you're saying there.
The 5 voting members counting the chair, which it should actually say Chair David Woods,
Yes.
Board Secretary. That would make more sense. Take out Vice Chair Pete Smith, put in Chair Dave Woods, and then the whole thing makes more sense.
Agree? Is that all you had?
Yeah,
That's a good one.
either one.
I caught nothing, so.
Nothing? Anybody
You
else?
got me on that one.
Motion to approve?
I could still do that. I move that we approve the minutes.
Hang on. So the meeting was the 21st, but the footer says May 7th.
Ooh.
Good job.
Oh.
Or was, yeah,
And it was the
so
21st.
update the
Yeah.
footing.
Well, I am.
Catching it at the last minute,
do-
that was good.
I do an awful lot of cut and paste myself, so that's easy to see.
Oh, she did.
She's awesome.
Did
She is
misspell.
so
She did
amazing.
misspell my name on line 44. Not to be picky.
What? What? Where?
44.
W-A-N-E.
Why did she forget that?
On 44, Wayne is spelled with a Y.
Yes. Maybe you were tired.
So, but you know what? Wayne being spelled with a Y makes you ask, why?
Why? I knew it was coming.
Did you ever ask why?
We're getting punchy.
I asked, when can I go home?
Now can we make a motion?
I would love that.
Move that we approve the minutes of the planning board Thursday, May 21st, 2026, with the amendments.
Second.
Moved by Pete, seconded by Wayne. Discussion? Wayne?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 5-0. Next up are findings, of which I will recuse myself.
There's
and
some
let
funny
Pete,
name.
take over the meeting for this evening, and also let him adjourn. So I will just pack up and be on my way.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Oh, no, you don't. This is this funny company named Wiggly. Don't you think that's a funny name? Wiggly. Anyway, I read this through and I found something on page 3. Please. Under final plan, fourth bullet, there's a lot of Sarita Frey being on the university and being a microbiologist. I did the following. Are you with me? The fourth dot says, Dr. Sarita Frey, microbiologist, microbial, thank you, ecologist, University of New Hampshire. I scratched out the next Sarita Frey and everything through to the comma on the second line, because it's somewhat a repeat.
Yep.
And I put in, stated that she is a fungal ecologist, right?
Good.
So scratch Sarita Frey, professor of, out through the comma, add in, stated that she.
Yep.
On 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth bullet, the third line starts with a quote on the second line. My objection is, I believe abutters are, that's all a mess. So I say, my objection is that, put a that in there, I believe an abutter, singular, is present.
Wait a minute, this is a quote.
I know
Should
it
it
is.
be a paraphrase?
I think it must have been.
We,
Person might have said abutters are present. That's true, right?
so we added these at the direction of the town attorney, although she didn't review the this finalized version. So we can take a direct quote, or we could paraphrase. It's really just what the board would like to see on the findings.
So Mary suggested this paragraph, this bullet be in.
Mary suggested that the comments from the applicant's sort of team be included on the testimony.
Okay.
The testimony portion.
She stated in the record that she objected to alternate Mark Cartier's participation in the discussion. Quote, my objection is I believe abutters are present with an issue of conflict and bias. Okay, so now I see that, I guess I'd leave it alone.
No, it's accurate. It's unnecessary, but it's accurate. But if
It reads a little
There was
funky.
really only one abutter, which was Mark.
she did speak in the plural, because I remember that.
Yeah, let's leave it
So
alone.
let's just leave it as it is.
Leave it alone.
The only thing about that is like, she said that she was quoting what Dr. Scott said versus, as I recall, she was saying Dr.
No,
Scott
that's
was the 20s.
that's the bullet above.
Okay, but
We're going to
still,
go back
that's
to
where
that
we
one.
started. Okay.
We're going to go
Okay.
back to that. But, so if I would leave the Lisa Gilbraith bullet alone.
Yes, I would too.
But you want to go back to the.
I want to go back to the bullet before that.
Okay, and?
And I would go to line 1, 2, 3, so that at the end of the third line, she uses the gold standard for detecting fungi in the environment. I would say she uses what she describes
Yep.
as the gold standard in quotes for detecting fungi in the environment.
Yes.
In the next sentence that starts with Baudina, I would say something like Baudina typically has been found. It's a generalization, it's not a specific reference point. She didn't cite a study.
Didn't she cite that Dr. Scott said, and the attorney confirmed it a second time, which is in here as well, that Dr. Scott said anything under 20 to 30,000 won't show anything, won't show up in the testing.
Yes,
50,000 and above. So
Yes.
what she was quoting in this references to 20, 100, and 50,000, the different numbers, was, I thought, was she said that she got that from Dr. Scott.
She did, and
Right, so should we reference that? in
I
there?
think we should reference that, and then I got one more, but yes. So you have to do that again, so
So
patience
she-
gets it.
Yeah, so So she uses the gold standard that you commented, then the next sentence has,
Bordonia?
yeah, well,
Has
I'm
been
trying to,
She stated that,
as noted in, by Dr. Scott, or,
yeah,
So you're saying just before when, as,
where it starts with Bowdonia on the beginning of the line.
Bowdonia typically has been found only at distilleries storing more than 50,000 barrels, said Dr. Fry, referencing
yeah, Dr. Scott.
Dr. Scott.
oh boy, that's, you know what?
I just think,
Minutes, here's the thing about minutes.
yeah,
And I talk with patients sometimes about this.
But this isn't minutes,
It's-
so.
Yeah. Oh, this is not
all right,
minutes.
I mean,
Okay, that's fine.
that's fine too. I was just wondering,
Findings of
this
fact.
jumps around, as did the conversation about the numbers of 20,000,
Yeah.
30,000, 50, and 100,000. And
Okay, so you were saying where it says
She quoted Dr. Scott as saying that
right,
only at distilleries storing more than 50,000 barrels will Bowdonia be
Present.
found,
right.
or
But it
that
wasn't at
Bowdonia
21,
will only be detectable at distilleries storing more than 50,000 barrels.
Right.
She referenced Dr. Scott as saying that Bowdonia has only been detectable at distilleries storing more than 50,000 barrels.
Yeah, that's easy, that's simple.
Is that all right? Can you get that?
That was cogent. Yeah, I like that.
So then, however, which sounds like a continuation of the logic and the thought, when it was found at a site storing 100,000 barrels, Dr. Frey stated that it was present in only 3% of the samples. I think she is still quoting Dr. Scott then, right?
I believe that was actually from her own research.
Yeah, that one was her research.
So
Dr. Scott was the 20, referencing 20 to 30,000 being the tipping point, right? I mean, I think that's correct, and so,
We're getting in the weeds now.
okay, well, I mean, we can, it's just that this is a final sign-off.
Yeah.
I think we're, Dr. Fry referenced Dr. Scott's research on facilities below 20,000 barrels posing no concern. That's where the Dr. Scott was the 20, 30,000.
Oh, so you think the 50,000 was her?
I don't recall if the 50 was hers or Scott's, but I do know the 20 and 30,000 discussion was definitely Dr. Scott. And again, typically, I agree that we wouldn't get into this detail, but we got into the detail about Mark and, I mean.
Yeah.
I would be tempted to go something like this. At the top, leave what we said. She stated that she is a fungal ecologist. She's been sampling Bowdonia at multiple distilleries worldwide. And then take out the gold standard thing, DNA sampling thing. We know that was part of it, but
Yeah, but it's key to this whole thing.
well,
Because they were discounting the other study because
Right.
this was a gold
Yes.
standard.
but this doesn't say that. This doesn't tie that. It should then say using DNA sampling, right?
Yeah.
She uses DNA sampling. the gold standard for detecting fungi in the environment. That's what it should say.
Didn't we
We
already just
no, we
rephrase
said
that?
Yes.
we
Already rephrased that one.
we were saying she uses what you said, what she describes as the gold standard.
Yeah.
Yes.
It should say she uses DNA sampling,
Isn't that what I
comma,
said?
what she describes as the gold standard. I would take the DNA sampling and put it,
Yeah, if I didn't say that, that's what I meant to say.
she uses
On the tip of your tongue.
DNA sampling. When I write with this pen, good thing I know what I can, okay,
Which she describes as the gold standard for detecting fungi in the environment.
period. All right?
Oh.
What?
Yes.
Then it says, found only in distillery store, then when, do the next sentence too. Bodonia has been found only in
But
distillery
we
store.
already rewrote that one. She said, she referenced Dr. Scott
No,
saying that Bodonia has only been found at distilleries, unless
I'm
that's
going to
not
read
the
the whole
case.
thing again from the top. Dr. Rita Frey, microbial ecologist, University of New Hampshire, stated that she is a fungal ecologist. She has been sampling Bodonia at multiple distilleries worldwide. She quoted Dr. Scott. No, I'm sorry, that goes one.
Missed the sentence. She uses DNA sampling, which she describes as the gold standard for detecting fungi in the environment.
Is it Dr. Scott that uses that, or
Yes.
Dr. Spray?
That's
Why don't we,
Dr.
why-
Fry.
why don't we just say
Uses that.
Fry said that?
because
Right.
she was talking and she said that she's the one that told us that Dr. Scott had said, we don't know for sure, we just know that she told us that Dr. Scott said that Bodonia has only been found at distillery store than more than 50,000 barrels.
Okay, so she said that, Dr. Scott. Okay. She said that Dr. Scott uses DNA sampling.
No.
Dr. Scott does not use DNA sampling.
We don't know if he would.
We don't know if he does or not.
She
She
said,
uses
she
DNA
said Dr. Scott
We will
no,
uses what she described as the gold standard for detecting fungi,
what she
comma,
does.
DNA sampling. So I was going to put the DNA sampling up at the beginning where it belongs.
yes, we did that.
We did that.
That's the
I'm going to
previous
read it
sentence.
again then. Because this has to go to patients, and this is where we get in trouble.
Patience doesn't do findings of fact.
So who did, Brendan did, okay. Are you paying attention?
He was until now.
You got it all? She said that Dr. Scott uses DNA sampling. Wait, let me finish. Which is the gold standard for detecting fungi in the environment.
Dr. Scott,
That
we
is
don't know
incorrect.
what
We don't know what
Scott-
Dr. Scott
She
uses.
uses the,
Dr. Fry uses DNA sampling.
Dr. Fry uses the DNA, which she said is the gold standard.
Dr. Scott was being referenced for the 20 to 30,000
For
barrels.
volume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Scott was being quoted for what?
Referencing the 20 to 30,000 barrels as being the tipping point for Bodonia.
Right.
Okay. So then it would just be she uses DNA sampling, which she describes as the gold standard for
Yes,
detecting fungi.
we're already on that. We're already
No, you
moving on
are,
that
but
one.
I'm not. What's this we shit, Sabi? Anyway, oh, hello.
Oh, say,
Then
so
I
you-
think we can get rid of, we could say Bodonia has been found only in distillery store with 50,000 barrels, and then jump down to facilities below 20,000 pose no concern, testing concerns, blah, blah. We have too much, or just leave the rest? When it was found at a site storing 100,000 barrels, Dr. Frey stated it was present in only 3%.
That's correct.
Facilities below 20,000 pose no concern. Good, okay.
That should be in quotes,
Why?
because we're quoting her.
Just the
No,
facilities
no, we're
part.
not gonna go there with this stuff. That's, why,
Or say, or
Or say-
paraphrase it to say,
just say
that's what
stated
she
that.
says.
There
She
you go.
said the 20,000 barrels.
There you go.
The 50,000, I don't remember.
Dr. Fry stated that it was present in only 3% of the samples, period. Facilities below 20. Why doesn't one who's reading that assume it's still Dr. Fry talking? Why do we, and then there's a quote, testing confirms there's no whiskey. Why isn't all of that assumed to be Dr. Fry stated?
Well-
If you keep saying who said what.
Well, you could
because-
say she, but the fact is that one of the things she quoted was from Dr.
what?
Scott, so that's why it had.
I gotta go. You guys are gonna take care of this. You guys.
I just
you're
have
gonna
one
take care of this.
question.
It's really
Which is on page 1, under description of the proposed use of the property.
I don't do that anymore.
Do we need, their attorney made the point of saying they'll never go over 20 to 30,000 barrels, so they don't need to, worry about whether there's going to be whiskey fungus on a go-forward basis. Does that number need to be in there or not? Is that too specific?
I think it would be too specific, and it also, they were referencing that as a possible agreement or condition on the plan,
have a sign,
which the
and
board
there's
didn't
another
require.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And we
I'd
weren't,
That's what
advise
I
against
thought,
that.
but I just,
yeah, and we weren't interested in that.
Perfect.
We were just, we, by consensus, I think, agreed that it's better to just say, we'll approve it for this building
for this
only.
building.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think is the number or the most number of barrels that Wiggly Bridge can put in one rick house?
They told us,
They told us.
I don't remember,
He did?
Yeah.
between 5 and
Total was
10,000.
5.
Yeah. I think it was somewhere around 5,000. was the
5,000.
most.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2 rick
All right.
houses, so not gonna be 20.
So I take it I'll amend these findings of fact and bring them back?
Would you mind?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we can do it again.
All right. Is that, would you like to adjourn the meeting, Mr. Chairman Smith?
Mr. Vice Chair.
Vice Chair Smith? Would you like to adjourn the meeting?
The meeting's adjourned.